Folks, it has been 95 days since the Bills season ended in one of the greatest games in NFL history, and tonight we finally begin to look forward after 3 months of mending our broken hearts. It is officially NFL Draft Night. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you want to tune in, comment, join the conversation, hop over to our YouTube channel. StreamYard won't let us see the Twitter commenters right now. It's a classic Romeo and Juliet situation, but they cannot keep us apart. We have a great show lined up for you guys tonight, and we want to hear your voice as it's going on. Got hot takes, picks you want to see, everything going through your head, we want to see here live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Start this off this evening from Trainwreck Sports. Myself, Maniac, Meerkat, Jake Micah, and joining us, Matt Perino's better half from New York, upstate. We got Ryan Talbot. Ryan, thank you for being here with us. Our first show back after what has felt like just so far the longest offseason in NFL history. Do you feel the same, or is it just me that it's only April, but just September, week one cannot come soon enough already?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm looking forward to the start of actual meaningful football again. And it starts here with the draft. So, you get the draft, you get the OTAs eventually, you get to the training camp. So I'm excited. I always loved the draft, whether I was a kid, now covering the team. So can't wait for this to get started.
Yeah, I think everybody can't wait for it to get started. Just 3.5 minutes or so until Jacksonville is officially on the clock. And as we kind of approach the get-go here, there's a lot of talk, whether it's Breece Hall, a wide receiver, a cornerback. Do you have any preference? Like over at New York Upstate, what's been the consensus over there, if there is a consensus between you and beautiful hair Matt Perino?
When we've done some mock drafts, when we've talked on our podcast, we've talked about all of those needs. Obviously, cornerback seems to stand out a little bit, but Sean McDermott has always spoken very highly of Dane Jackson. We don't know the exact timeline on Trey White, but it seems like a good time to go after a cornerback in this draft, whether you're talking round 1, round 2. Kyler Gordon's a name that's been climbing up the draft boards in a lot of these mock drafts. He would make some sense for this team from the traits perspective. Breece Hall, if you feel like he is the missing piece to this offense, he makes plenty of sense as well. And then this is a loaded wide receiver class. When the Bills get on the clock at 25, I don't know who's going to be there, but obviously Jahan Dotson, he's been a popular pick as of late just based on who's most likely going to be off the board at that point. Burks is another guy that's there. And then you have those late risers, the Sky Moores of the world that are starting to creep into some of these mock drafts. So I could see all three of those positions being in play, and I'm even someone that's not opposed to an interior offensive lineman at 25.
And so maybe because that's not something I've really, Meerkat, is that as you said, yeah, it sounded like you're kind of in agreement there. That wouldn't shock you?
I think I said it earlier to the cap. I wouldn't be happy with it, but I wouldn't be mad at it. If a guy like Zion Johnson's there at 25, I don't see how Bean passes him up. Now, a lot of national pundits are, interior offensive line is a popular pick for the Bills outside of corner and receiver and running back, because I don't think people, outside of Buffalo, a lot of people really know what Ryan Bates can bring to the table, realize that he should be a starter in this offense coming into this season, I suppose. Roger Saffold, yeah, he's old. I know you got to think about the future there, but he's a good player right now. I'm not a fan of investing that first round pick in alignment, but if the right guy's there, and I think Zion Johnson might be that type of guy if he is there, to where, it makes sense for the Bills, but I'm with Ryan. I'm all over cornerback. I think it's the biggest need. It's like the top 3 guys I had of my 5 going to the Bills were all corners. But Ryan, there is one guy I want to ask your opinion on. You didn't bring him up. I'm super high on him, but I am biased as a Michigan fan. Dax Hill. Well, do you see him, do you see the Bills having interest in a guy like Dax Hill? I know listed as a safety, but he can play corner. He can play really anything in that secondary. And you think about contract situations. Jordan Poyer was a hot topic this offseason. It could be a guy who maybe could help, the cornerback room immediately, but turn into, that successor at safety. I just want to know your thoughts on him.
Yeah, my last mock draft, actually, first round, I had Daxton Hill going to the Bills. I like his skill set. I like him a lot as a player. It's just figuring out, what would the Bills, how would they use him? How would they utilize him? I did read a few things about Daxton Hill not necessarily wanting to be a boundary cornerback. Could the Bills convince him that might be short term where they want to have him out in that part of the field, and then they'd kick him, to safety when they move on from Jordan Poyer or when Micah Hyde's time comes, because they're both over 30. Poyer's contract ends this year. Obviously, there's uncertainty there in terms of him wanting a new deal. Could he be moved? Could there be something that happens there? Absolutely. So Hill is someone that's definitely on my radar, someone I like a lot, someone that I think could be a boundary cornerback in the NFL. I like, how he tested. I like the athleticism that he brings to the table. And then last but not least, I think that John Butler, of all the positional coaches on this team, has the best resume of developing these players, bringing them along. And yeah, you can point at Trey White, who was a first-round pick, but he helped develop him into an all-pro cornerback. Levi Wallace, undrafted free agent, made him a serviceable cornerback number 2 for many, many years. Cam Lewis out of UB, there was a time where he was going to replace Taron Johnson. He got injured in that game where he was going to start, but they like him a lot. Dane Jackson, the list goes on and on. So I feel like if the Bills did take a Daxton Hill, they'd have the utmost confidence that John Butler could get him up to speed pretty quickly.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that.
Yeah, and I don't know if Micah or Maniac want to chime in here, but me personally, I don't know if I kind of see the need at wide receiver like a lot of other people do. I mean, like, granted, especially with how the market went this offseason, right? I think that's the main reason why people are thinking, hey, in the first round, if you can get a cost-controlled receiver with a fifth-year option, that's really going to benefit you down the line. But as far as immediate need goes, I don't have the target and the snap numbers right in front of me, but I just don't see a path for a rookie wide receiver. Granted, Jamison Crowder is not a game-breaking player, but he's going to get meaningful snaps and meaningful targets as a wide receiver 3. Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, Singletary showed flashes at, receiving the ball last year. Dawson Knox, I just feel like there are too many mouths to feed to justify a first round pick on it if you're looking for immediate return. And as a Super Bowl contender, I feel like that's something that the Bills should be looking for in the first round. So Maniac, Micah, do you guys maybe see the wide receiver position a little differently?
I know Jake does.
Go, Maniac? I mean, part of my Jahan Dotson love is some homerism. I will.
Oh, I do love Jahan Dotson.
I watch Big Ten football more than anything else, college football, and I do truly think that Dotson is just as good as the Ohio State guys. He just had Sean Clifford throwing in the ball, and Ohio State had CJ Stroud throwing him, because Sean Clifford is just not that level of a quarterback, and Dotson made him look a hell of a lot better a lot of times in a lot of games this year. So I just have the utmost faith. But when it comes to wanting a wide receiver, I really think that whatever option they go with right now, it's not. I think that they're going to find depth in the first 3 rounds and be able to get guys that can play this year and have an impact this year, no matter what. Like, I trust them enough to find those guys, and just trying to listen to the coded messages of McDermott and Dean as they talk about these classes every year is one of my favorite things. And McDermott really talking about the corners, was talking about the depth in this corner class a lot. He mentioned that a couple different times when they asked him about it. So I could see them, grabbing the corner just to have the sure thing there. But it feels like to me, with the history of them not really wanting to take that position high, like you were talking about, Ryan, the way that they believe in the guys they have now and how they've been able to develop guys, that they're looking at this as an opportunity to just add top tier talent, add to your fastball is a term I've heard all summer. And that's an opportunity there. That's why I think we keep hearing all the Breece Hall talk, because he's just he's a piece that they don't have, and there's not really an avenue for them to get it another way. So a receiver at 25, I think, is the same thing, adding to your fastball. Crowder is that I think Crowder will be very good for them this year, but it's a guy to get for 4 or 5 years. As Diggs' contract is going to be expiring, looking into the future, that if this guy works out, the money would be working out right at that point. But I also think, a Mechie, Calvin Austin, Khalil Shakir in the 2nd or 3rd round could be just as impactful as any of these first round guys. It just really feels like this draft is like all like 2nd to 3rd round talent, really. I mean, Bean said that as much. They don't have first round grades on everybody. And it feels like the boards for all 32 teams are kind of all over the place. That's what I'm most excited about for tonight and tomorrow, for sure.
Yeah, and he brought up
It is going to be an interesting combo when the Bills do make a first-round pick. That draft's going to want to know, did Bean have a first-round grade on me, and will I live up to it? This offseason, I mean, it's been crazy. Nobody would have predicted Von Miller. Nobody would have predicted both Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips coming back to the Bills. Jordan Phillips first reported, I believe, by our man Talbot. With that said, I'm looking forward to embracing that unpredictability tonight from Bean. Do they need to hit tonight huge? Not necessarily. But in a weird way, there's just as much pressure on this draft pick tonight as there was for 15 plus years when you were trying to get out of the drought. But it's a different kind of pressure. Instead of saving the organization from the abysmal state it was in, it's taking the franchise to the next level and potential, championships. We are talking whether it's conference or whether it's Super Bowl. So there's a lot of excitement, obviously. With that all said, the Breece Hall talk. Come on, folks. Is this our first round with Brandon Bean here? I mean, I'm seeing Vegas shooting these numbers from 5-1 to basically even money for the Bills to take a running back. Let's not forget, this is the same Vegas that 4 short years ago had Sean McDermott as the first favorite to be fired. We all remember
That's
it.
True.
You can't take
That's
it back,
true.
Vegas. You don't have a beat on this team. You don't have a beat on One Bills Drive. And the reason is because it's a cohesive unit. They stick together. They band together like emperor penguins. And we are charging
I
into the
fucking
icy
love
future.
penguins.
We are charging
God.
in. So with that said, regardless of who the Bills take, it'll be a very exciting process. But last point on the unpredictability here. Who had Jordan Davis on their bingo card talking about how awesome Bills Mafia is and basically pledging his allegiance to the Bills no matter what team drafts him? I mean, if you're the Dolphins, Jets, or Patriots, even if he falls to you, he's off your board. Because let's face it, you're not going to be able to trust that guy in a divisional matchup.
No, I also love the one thing I saw he said was that he doesn't like cow milk. It makes his tummy upset. And I thought I just felt that with every fiber of my being, honestly.
Vibe.
But Maniac, I feel like you might just be in denial. I feel like you might be in denial because if the Bills draft
not
Breece
the first
Hall,
time.
If you no, and it won't be the last. But if they do draft Breece Hall, you're gonna owe someone $100. So are you talking yourself into not owing someone $100?
Right now I'm kind of hyping myself up before a fight. I would say like that's the equivalent of what I'm doing right now. Again, when has Brandon Bean done something that was so telegraphed? This just feels like it's so telegraphed. There were so many words out there. I mean, I'm not saying, and just to be clear, Brandon Bean would never be silly or petty or stupid enough to do something just to do the opposite of it because it was out there. Like, obviously, if this is his plan, he's going to go with it. But with that said, I mean, it's just an absolute, silliness that it's so out there and that people are playing on it to me. But with that said, yes, we got, what do I got? Guys, should I screen share this real quick? Hold on. So if you still got time, actually, I guess we can go up till the Bills pick. If the Bills draft Breece Hall tonight, I'll give one of our followers who retweets this $100. You just have to follow myself and go follow at Crowd Assist Podcast on Twitter. We're rocking and we're rolling.
So, Ryan, what are your thoughts on this upcoming number 1 overall pick that's going to be announced shortly? Are you on a consensus yourself, or are you not sure what's going to go on like the rest of us? Is Trayvon going to, surprise everyone after swooping up the boards? Are they going to go safe with Hutchinson? Are they going to take a tackle?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Trayvon Walker. I'm not sure that is the right pick. I think Aiden Hutchinson is the safer pick of the two. Someone that I still think even has a pretty high ceiling despite being the safer pick. Not a higher ceiling than Walker, but just still has a high ceiling in general. But, they're going to kind of go big or go home, and I get that. Walker's been flying up the draft board for some time now. Wouldn't shock me whatsoever if that's the plan. As for the offensive tackles, I know that, that was the conversation for a while. I think you're going to see a run on offensive tackles in that, that 3 to 8 range, somewhere like that. You might see like back to back offensive tackles go off the board. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And that really is probably, I know the Bills are quite a ways away from that. That's probably good news for Buffalo because they're obviously set up at offensive tackle. They like the duo that they have there. But this draft has just been unlike anything I can remember in some time. The whole draft process changing gears a little bit here. We talked about Sauce Gardner being the first cornerback off the board, and now everything's tying Stingley to the number 3 overall pick. And unless Gardner goes number 2, which I'm not anticipating, it looks like Stingley might be the first cornerback off the board. Does that mean Gardner falls out of the top 10? Probably not. But these are the interesting players that we've heard hyped up quite a bit. Sauce Gardner, Kyle Hamilton, I think, slides out of the top 10 now. Bills did a lot of homework on Hamilton. Is that someone that they could shock the entire league and move up for? I don't know, but with Hoyer's contract situation, it'd be something to keep an eye on. You could utilize him as a movable chess piece, line him up as a linebacker at times. He's someone that has a lot of great range there. So this draft is really interesting, but the more tackles, the more quarterbacks that go off the board early, the happier Brandon Beane's going to be.
Yeah, between offensive tackles and edge rushers, it feels like there's a lot of those guys grouped up kind of in the top 15. And if 4 of each position went, that would be music to my ears and probably music to Brandon Beane's ears as well. And you bring up Kyle Hamilton. The thing that kind of interests me about him, and he's probably the only guy outside of maybe Jamison Williams, the guy who doesn't think wide receivers a need here, I know, that I would trade up for outside of him. And that's because, he kind of has that versatility, that dexterity. He could also, worst case scenario, if Trey White's injury lasts longer than we foresee, he has a potential to play a little bit on the boundary too. Like if God forbid something happened where we needed to slot him in at corner, that's something where I've seen he's been able to do that. He did that a little bit in college here and there. He's kind of, people say that they want to acquire an offensive weapon in Breece Hall. A lot of people describe this guy as the defensive weapon in the draft. So that's kind of Kyle Hamilton. If there's one guy I'm trading up for, I would love it to be him. And that begs the question, who do the Bills trade up with? Because we've heard it all week. This is going to be a very cheap draft to trade up into. Not a lot of people want to stay up there. A lot of teams are looking to move back. So is it like Carolina, a team that's clearly going into a rebuilding phase and they don't have a lot of picks? I feel like that's the obvious choice.
Yeah, that's high up there. I mean, that would probably cost you your 2023 first as well.
Yeah, no, I forgot they were that high. Never mind.
Yeah, they're at 6, I believe. So, I mean, right. If you're looking outside the top 10, maybe Washington Commanders make a little bit of sense. And I know that Brandon Beane doesn't have a lot of love for that organization right now. But maybe that's it. Hey, listen, you know, you want to move down, we want to move up a little bit. Let's find some middle ground here and improve that relationship a little bit. I wish it worked that easily in the NFL, but it's something to monitor, because I think if you start talking about those early teens, you're not necessarily giving up your 2023 first. You're giving up a few day 2 picks. You're giving up, obviously, pick 25 this year. There could be a player in the mix as well. So that's maybe more of the comfort zone where I think Brandon Beane, by all costs, doesn't want to give up a first-round pick if he doesn't have to. Even if the Bills are picking in the 20s or the 30s, ideally, he wants to have that pick for the future.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Meerkat, do you have an eye? Micah, you opened your mouth. Go ahead.
I was going to say the guy I can think, I mean, Hamilton around there, I think I've seen him, the place he's not really getting past in any mocks is Houston there at 13. Houston's pretty much snagging him there. So that would be, I agree with like the Commanders. I don't think the Jets would probably trade with the Bills, but somewhere around there. But one I've been eyeing the most is at number 7 with the Giants. If one of those corners is there and they really just love Stingley or fell in love with Sauce and just like, you know what, we can put him across from Trey and those guys, we think they can just lock down wherever. That's the spot I've been looking at. And we didn't hear, I don't think we heard. I know you were tracking the visits very well, Ryan. We didn't hear about either of them visiting, right? They could be one of the 13 that didn't. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did more homework on them, but that's the spot I would be looking at. If they're going to go corner, like my ideal situation, if they go corner in the first round, is to make a move for one of the big 2 guys, because I think that those guys could be really impact players day one. But Stingley, I do think, seems like he's flying back up where he really started the process like 2 years ago. Everybody thought he was a for sure top 5 pick coming in a while ago. So
absolutely. I mean, if you're trading up that high, those are the guys to go. If you're looking in the early teens to the mid-teens, that's when you go for the McDuffie type of deal, because I think he's well off the board by 25. I'm sorry to interrupt, though.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I think, I was going to say if the Bills are to make a move, it's going to be with somebody like the Eagles where they're at 16, 18, and they're trying to hop. If they want a receiver, if a guy starts to slip, like if Olave or, Drake London are there at 16, I think the Bills might consider making a move there, trying to hop the Packers at least, because I think the Packers go top receiver available at 22. Yeah. That's something I could see. Or like Ryan just said, a move for McDuffie. In my heart of hearts, I hope somehow he slips. It's going to be a close one with him. But if it's only, if it's mid-teens, later teens, early 20s to get him, I think Bean pulls the trigger. I don't see us making a huge splash top 10 move, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, we've talked about wide receiver. We've talked about interior offensive lineman. Is it a need? Do they need him? Wide receiver, you're one injury to Steph Diggs away from Jamison Crowder being your number 2 wide receiver. And you kind of have to think like that. You don't want to have there be injuries or anything like that, but it can happen. And Jamison Crowder has a history of lower body injuries. So going back to Dotson, someone we've talked about, someone you can bring in slowly if everyone's healthy, but he can also contribute as a punt returner. He has a little bit of a history doing that at Penn State. When it comes to Zion, the interior offensive lineman, there were many games last year where Roger Saffold exited the game, missed some snaps, missed some plays. You'd come back the following week, mind you. But you might need that because the interior depth that they currently have is a little worrisome as well. So that's something to monitor as well.
And the pick is in. It took them about 5.5 minutes longer than it really should have. When a team is first on the clock, they're on the clock first overall. I can't imagine why they don't get it in.
It never makes sense.
Like
there was a reason. I read about it last year, and now I can't remember the reason why.
Oh,
yeah, I think it's actually something the league does. The league tells them almost.
Build the drama up a little bit.
It might be. Yeah. I'm going to look it up, see if I can find it again.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up,
although with the Jaguars, I could believe that they're still deciding right now.
Well, this year especially, because
Well, while you're looking that up, I do have someone I want to introduce here. We got him for a short while, and I see him smirking because he knows that he's coming up here. And we're not here to rip him apart, I swear. If you guys saw earlier on Twitter when the Bills released that, the mean tweets read by Josh Allen, one person in particular was called out. One person, unfortunately, gained a not so wonderful nickname in the process. So I'm happy to welcome to the show Rich Clownface Lachetti. Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Because I know I pronounced
you nailed it.
Perfect. Thank God I Googled it. So thank God Google didn't lie to me. You can believe everything you read on the internet. Rich, thank you for joining here. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Were you caught off guard? Yeah, for sure. Were you caught off guard by just being completely added in that video by the Bills Twitter?
Oh yeah, I was walking back to the office today, and a friend in DC where I live sent it to me and just said, "Oh my God." And I knew immediately that I was going to have a day on Twitter today. So,
Clownface, thanks for coming on the program. I have to ask you, honestly. I was looking at your timeline, and it looked like about 4 minutes before the Bills dropped that video, you actually turned yourself in. It reminded me kind of like a mobster trying to turn themselves in for like a misdemeanor, and then next thing you know, they're found guilty of 4 felonies. I couldn't believe it. So talk to me through that like 10-minute period. Like what was going on? You're like, oh, might as well get this out there. And the next thing you know, it's just going off.
No, it was total just synchronicity or something. I have been called out on that tweet before, never by Josh Allen. And so with it being draft day, I was like, hey, I'm going to post this, everybody look at how dumb my brain is. And within a couple minutes of that, the Josh Allen video posted. So that was just fantastic time.
That's amazing.
So I imagine you've definitely softened on him, like probably all of Bills Mafia have ever since that. I know and I'm going to tell you, you were not alone. I had a few here that I thought I would share. I wouldn't have traded a flaming paper bag of dog shit away for Josh Allen. That was me. Shope said he didn't want to talk about it at all. I said his replies were the only positive thing I've ever heard anyone say. Well, that's not visible because of the little ticker at the bottom. but trust the process unless it's Josh Allen. There's more. And then the next day, just a friendly reminder that Josh Allen being a Bill is probably for the better. So it's fun how things change. Maniac just straight up said that they weren't going to take Josh Allen. So we've all been wrong.
No, I just got clown faced. But no,
So I had to delete my Josh Allen draft night tweets because if the workplace saw them, I would not be employed anymore.
Wow. Shout out Dave and shout out Adam for doing the work, though. Seriously, the ultimate comic relief.
When was the moment you knew you were wrong? When's the moment you knew you were wrong about Josh Allen?
I remember that preseason I went up to Buffalo for a game and he had some incompletion where he just chucked the ball 60 yards and you could tell he was just insanely gifted. That first game against the Ravens when they brought him in relief of Peterman, I mean, that was the only time in the game the Bills even moved the ball. Probably, though, I mean, even the next season, his second season, he was better, but they collapsed against the Texans in the playoffs, and it was like, is this really going to work out? But the last 2 years, I mean, he has just been a joy to watch. I mean, it's watching him in the Tampa game this year. I know we lost that game, but he just put the team on his back, willed the Bills back into the game. I mean, he has just been the best thing to happen to Buffalo since, when I was a kid, the Super
Logan
Bowl
Berry.
years. Right.
No, I think the first play I really remember of his, and maybe we can make this a Josh Allen love fest while we got you here, so that maybe he sees this and understands that people do change. What was the Jaguars, the touchdown against the Jaguars, just that rocket of a throw to Robert Foster? Like that's by far the first touchdown of his that I remember, and I was like, holy shit! If this kid's not good, at least he's gonna be fun. Like, man,
right.
The funny thing is even. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Clownface. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it, Maniac. He's been a blast to watch. I mean, even those first couple of years when he wasn't all the way there, just some of the throws. I mean, no other QB in the NFL can do that. So, first and foremost, I am here to ask his forgiveness, to ask the forgiveness of Bills Mafia. I was gravely wrong 4 years ago. I have never been happier to be wrong about something in my life than I was about Josh Allen. And, hopefully this next year will be his best season yet.
We got Rich L here on the show right now, but he's not taking L's. Clownface is straight up winning right now. He was acknowledged by Josh Allen. You're telling me any Bills fan wouldn't pay $250 to have Josh Allen call them an idiot?
That's facts.
They would literally, they would sign up for the appearance and probably pay for like a $400 bundle or something. And let me just say something. A big part of a scandal is the way you handle it. Okay? There can be fallout beyond your wildest dreams. You don't do the right way. And what Clownface did was he went with the punches right here. And that is how you come out a winner. So I'm loving it. I mean, honestly. And with that said, I mean, again, I can't get over the Josh Allen acknowledgement back there because that was my first thought right away. Is this a nightmarish experience or is this kind of like what every Bills fan dreams of? And I think it's closer to the dream than the nightmare.
Yeah, I will say I did tweet this is the worst day of my life when I first saw that video. It's gotten a little bit better. I mean, what can I do? I was entirely wrong 4 years ago. Josh Allen is right. I have a dumb brain. I am a clown face. I accept that. I own it. And that man can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we do have a draft tonight as well. So this is your time. This is your chance for redemption. Who do you want the Bills to take? And I am on whoever you. No, yes.
I learned my lesson today. I will never, ever again suggest who the Bills should take, who they should not take. Trust in Brandon Beane. That's my mantra moving forward.
That's respectable.
Well, I do respect that. Rich, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for showing up pretty much all of us with your backdrop because that looks way better than what I have going on over here.
Thanks for having me, guys. Go Bills.
Thanks for coming on, Clownface. I love you.
Bye.
Man, that was fun. I hopped in
awesome.
his DMs almost immediately, and I was like, man, I really hope he answers, and I hope he's not offended. But someone who I don't mind if he gets offended is our friendly neighborhood Jets fan who is a friend of the program, and they're up in 2 picks. So, okay, yeah. Rob Ryan, hey, buddy. What do you want the Jets
Look
to
at
do?
you.
The Texans pick is in. So we don't know what it is yet, but
we need a little song here.
This is going way too quick. I don't like this. But
yeah, right.
I have a couple options. Sauce is one of them. And then any of the edge,
wrong.
I take
Please.
JT. I take JJ. But I'm really think they're going to go the tackle. I think they're going to go Icky. I don't know why. I guess they think Becton's not going to get back to football shape, and they're just going to give up on him. Or they're going to, for some reason, have all three Fant, Becton, and Icky for some reason. But what we're looking for is at the 10. We want to see what they're going to do after this 4 pick. We know they're drafted the 4. It's this 10 pick. Are they trading it? Are they picking a wide receiver there? That's what I'm waiting for. This 4 pick, I don't really think I could be mad at it. I don't think I'd be mad at 10 either. I don't think I could really be mad leaving tonight unless for some reason they go like way out of line and do something really dumb. But I'm really looking forward to that 10 pick. And if I see a different team pop up than the Jets, I'll be super excited.
So you want to trade down?
No, I want to trade out of that first round.
Yes,
and bring someone in and add to our salary cap.
So you want to trade down?
So even if Jameson Williams sitting there at 10, you don't want him.
See, I like JMO, but the only thing is I know we're not going to compete this year, but who knows how long he's going to be out for. Yes, he looks like he's ahead of schedule right now, but who knows how long he's going to be out for, and who knows really how it's going to affect him. I think he's still going to be one of the best out of this draft class, but I don't think you can take the risk that early in the draft.
Damn, Rob, the Jets are down bad, bro. They're not going to compete this year.
Jeez, he's already out.
No.
He's already
could
out.
not be us.
They have the longest drought in the NFL. Rob, they're down bad.
This man is a corn.
You're saying they're not going to be in it this year, and they have the longest drought in the NFL. They're down bad.
10 picks.
No, not like that. Not like that. Actually, they actually have the second longest drought, but not. I want them to compete, but they're not. I'm going to say they're not compete for like a Super Bowl. I want them to be in the hunt in December. But like,
So
they're not going to
loving
compete
the
for Super Bowl
hunt.
this
Oh
year.
my
This year.
gosh.
Can the Jets make the playoffs this year?
Depending on how this draft goes, maybe.
Is it
Depending,
immeasurably
maybe.
tougher
I like
because
maybe.
Josh Allen's in the division?
I will give it right now a 35%.
35?
Wow, that's high.
Wow.
That's really good odds.
That's great.
I'm not.
Classic.
Ryan,
He let his
higher
higher
level.
Wow, Stingley.
Stingley.
Yeah,
at
that's
30.
been the
Wow.
talk. That's been the talk all day that
They
he's
fell
going to
in
be
love
the
with him.
first corner, and that the Texans wanted him at 3. So wild. Just because,
Maybe-
well, not wild. Talent's there. It's just this whole
yeah.
draft process. It's been sauce being the first one, and
Yeah.
now it flips around. But I mean, you look at the Texans roster; they have no shortage of
Right.
needs. If you feel like this guy is
Yeah.
a game changer, go out and get him, and that's going to help quite a bit to speed up that process.
But back to the 35, that was a little too high. You guys were right. I'll go more like
3.5.
not a 9 right now.
I'll give you that.
Depending
I
on
guess.
it all depends
That
on
works.
how Zach is. They have the weapons around him, and they'll add to it tonight and this weekend.
It's
It all
all right.
depends how Zach is. If Zach sucks, they're gonna go nowhere. If he's good, they could
Who-
possibly compete.
Who's
It
the
all-
I'm
offensive
terrified
coordinator?
of a Mike White, Jameson Williams connection.
That's true.
Mike White, he had his glory. His 15 minutes of fame is over.
Who is the
It was
who's
that
the
long?
offensive coordinator for the Jets, Rob?
Mike LaFleur.
Oh, okay.
Is he
Genius.
more or less handsome than his brother?
He is more
Great
handsome.
question.
No, he's less. He's definitely
So-
less.
Less
We
handsome?
didn't even we didn't
That
even
means he's
really
smart,
talk on
yeah,
his
see.
first 2 picks.
Oh, I mean,
No, we have.
you know the
Trayvon
play.
did go
Three now,
first.
yeah.
You know the play
Yeah.
that the Cowboys
Trayvon did go
used in the
first, yeah.
playoffs
Yeah.
where they passed it, and then they pitched it back to try to another wide receiver to wide receiver. Like it was a set play in the playoffs, and it didn't work. You don't remember?
I remember when the
Wait,
Colts
what game?
lined up the.
What?
The
It
weird
was-
thing the Colts did against
it
the
was
Patriots.
Cowboys 49ers, I believe, or Cowboys.
Yes. Yeah,
It was
okay.
the play. I think it was Gallup to or someone,
Cooper?
but it was like a slant play, and then they turned it back and pitched it back to another wide receiver to try it because it was a 3rd and long, and they had to try to get more yardage. I don't know if you guys remember it, but LaFleur made that play early on in the year that worked. Whatever, it was some scouter.
I couldn't have been the only one wondering what the hell that had to do with anything. I love Rob. The Jets are so down bad that they have 2 top 10 picks. He's talking to me about how LaFleur invented one play
in Dallas.
Probably smarter.
The Jets are down bad, dude.
But I was saying how he looks smart. He's probably smarter than his brother. So I was just trying to clarify.
By the way,
that is a yes.
These guys aren't getting like as crazy money as it was like 12, 15 years ago. But if you scoot up into the top 5, I mean, Stingley or I've never
the bonus money.
I mean, like a quarter of $100 million just at signing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
The Jets taking the longest year that anyone's taken so far.
Yeah,
The first
about 5 minutes.
He's got to be one of the highest paid players on the Texans now, right?
He's got to be the highest. Who's higher?
He might be the highest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's clearly going to be like one of the only situations in the NFL.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did he resign for?
I forgot about Cooks. I think he was probably
the most underrated player in the last decade of the NFL.
Remember when the Patriots rented him for 1 year?
Yep.
Oh my God.
I barely remember it, but I remember talking about Brandon Cooks being underrated and looking up his Pro Football Reference and being
so Mania, I'm excited to win the $100 tomorrow.
What?
You hush with that talk. But Rob, what do you think? Or Rob or Ryan? Rob Ryan. I was getting a little confused there with
too many Ryans.
The Rob Ryan coming in when we have Ryan is really throwing me up. But with the Jets pick here, I mean, is it Thibodeau a tackle or Sauce, or do they just go out of left field potentially?
It's 100% definitely not KT. I can confirm that. There's the team. I don't know why they just didn't really like him. I think it's going to be Sauce. Right now. Sauce. Oh my God. Ahmad Gardner. I'm not even going to say his nickname this time.
Oh my God. You can't wait to be launching out Sauce memes in the Trainwreck chat. Well, listen, the Jets are down bad, Rob. We all get it. So let's bring up someone who's going to get the spirits going in the right direction.
They're up and coming.
None other than Buffalo's bad boy himself, Del Reed.
Hey!
Did you go jazz hands right there?
Love it.
I realized at the exact moment I'm wearing green. I mean, it says Mafia on it, but the Jets are picking. I'm wearing green. Bad look. So.
Beautiful. Oh, hey, beautiful Masters tee. Even if the Masters tournament is now about 342 days away, I still love it. And you can go get it at the 26 shirt store, I'm sure. Del, you're taking in this action. Thoughts? What are the emotions going through?
The emotions I'm running on right now are, oh my gosh, it's almost 8:30. I gotta go. I gotta run up because we had some people over. So I'm sitting here subtly like checking my phone for the past like half hour. Like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, it's I'm so excited about tonight. I cannot wait to see who our Bills select. I've read about 1,000 mock drafts. I tend to not tweet about it too much because then people start asking me questions and then I just have to come at them with like, so I get used to the names. Like I shove all these names in my brain for like a month, and then by Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning, I'm gonna forget half these dudes and where they got drafted and whatever's going on. But
yep,
pretty much.
After
By
that
the way,
point,
Ryan,
one
you were
matters.
talking your mocks. How many did you total out at for the pre-draft?
No, I only did 2 this year. It was
Only 2?
Really nice. Yeah, this is the nice part of the Bills being good. It used to be like mid-December mock draft for the Bills. Now that they're making these longer playoff runs, there's a lot to talk about leading up to the draft. So I was very happy with just getting 2 in there. So very happy.
I mean, I think we all still got by it, but seasonal anxiety when the Bills go till the end of January, that's like taking out like 30 or 40% of it for me. I hate to say it.
Yeah,
true.
It's awesome. Yeah,
it's a whole different world.
Yeah, this used to be our Super Bowl, right? And
that's right.
Honestly, yeah.
And my father-in-law, I spoke
It's my
with him
Super
earlier
Bowl.
today. Fair enough. And enjoy the W, right? So,
Let's go.
I don't know who they picked, Rob.
I know it's behind still for me.
Oh, it's
We got
Sauce.
Is it Sauce?
It's
Sauce.
Sauce.
Are they getting
Yo.
saucy in New York?
Josh Allen better watch
I like
out.
Degenerate danger
For
zone.
what?
We cashed the
On
first
this
prop bet of the
out.
night. Sauce Gardner
I-
plus 150 under pick for 1.5.
Yo, Stephon Diggs better
congratulations.
watch out.
That's clutch.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate on my Twitter later for just saying that, but I'm ready. Bills Mafia, come at me.
Yeah. Diggs
Sauce
has
is a good
250 on
player.
his head, bro. Get out of here.
If the Jets
See, this is when I could
stay
shut-
at 10 and take Jamison Williams or another top flight receiver,
Yeah,
I'm going to
they should
hate
be.
that. I think that's incredible for the
I will
Jets,
hate
adding
that.
two great
I talk shit
talents
until
at
like
skill
week
positions.
3 when I know the season's over.
Yeah, at least you know your place.
You're
No,
3
I
weeks
saw-
behind everybody else in the NFL, but that's fine. We'll give you that.
No, I saw yesterday 26 shirts released a shirt that I'm sure you probably got like hundreds of Twitter DMs asking for something about the really the Vegas baby shirt. It's beautiful. Did you get a lot of requests
Glorious.
for some kind of Jack Eichel slander shirt?
When that quote first happened, it was like really fresh and everybody was doing that meme. We probably got some tweets and requests. If a Buffalo player stubs his toe, people want to take a shirt about it. But it's funny. So I can't take any credit for this one. So we were in the office yesterday morning, and Andrew Baglini and Josh Banks and Patrick McCracken, my 3 of my employees, they were just riffing for like 15 minutes, just making jokes, talking about it, and because they could have been eliminated last night, which turns out they were. And then all of a sudden, Josh goes, "I don't care, I'm doing it." And like 10 minutes later, he has the shirt done. And then Andrew goes, "Wait, I got an idea." And he loads it into his computer and he lights up one of the L's with the gold and everything. And then I was like, "Okay, we got to run it." So that was completely their baby. And we typically don't go snarky, but I let them have that W. So we put it out there yesterday. It's been a lot of fun. So we got to do one last Jack Eichel shirt. We did so many in the past. We got to do one last one. So
Seriously, that shirt
It's good to have
reminded
a
me of the
Swan
scene
to honor him.
in the interview when they have a very specific Matthew McConaughey interview opportunity. You just can't turn it away, no matter what it was. So makes so sense.
Exactly.
By the way, Rob, Sauce Gardner just went their completely wrong direction versus
good
the
start.
stage. He literally took like 100
Low
yards to the
awareness.
left. And he had to run. He had to run back to the stage to get there in time. Are you worried that this guy might not be able to take direction? I'm seeing character issues. I'm seeing like not looking at the playbook, not knowing sense of direction. I mean, what's going to happen?
I'm not worried about that. That is nonsense. He was just very excited. What would you do in that situation? You just got drafted.
Yeah. I'm sure with 70,000
Now,
fans
Rob,
around
you know where
him
you're going.
going nuts. He's
So
not going to be
are you
very
saying that he
excited, so-
won't get excited during an NFL game? Like, let's say he picks a pass off and he gets so excited he runs into the wrong end zone.
Yeah, that's a concern. That would be a
This is the
concern.
guy that's thinking
I don't know.
with his heart.
Unbiased.
Actually,
Unbiased.
You want to know a funny story? Actually, you want to know a funny story that just happened when
No.
you say that running the wrong way?
Uh-oh,
So
that's
I
going to be
had
a
a
very
hockey
funny
game last
story.
night.
You
I
did
had a
have
hockey game last night,
night.
and I'm like getting off for a change, and I'm standing in front of the other bench, like because I was on there. We were on defense, and we're going to the offensive zone, and like I'm thinking that's my bench. So I start walking to that bench, screaming "change, change," and I realize it's the other bench.
I would have
It's like when you get in the wrong car in the parking
I
lot.
would have been
Yourself out
treating you worse than anybody.
I wouldn't
That's the
tell that
funny
And what's
story
worse
anywhere
is that
else.
I knew the kid on the other team. Like I've been to parties with him, so like he knew me.
That's
Oh, no.
hilarious.
I'm
That's
just seeing
so
this Stingley
funny.
footage. He was like walking like into the hotel towards the rooms, like very far from the stage.
He's like, okay, sounds like my evening's done.
Right? Bro,
Like
Gardner
nowhere
was
near the
literally...
event going.
He just wanted to go home.
Dude, yeah, he was at like the
Exactly.
convention center, like B, in some separate room. Like there was like a bridal shower going on, and he had to sprint back.
And then
So
he's
who is
slowing down as he's getting closer to the stage. Like there's not a cameraman right in front of him. Like he's trying to play it cool. Like, dude, we all know.
We just saw it.
Run
We
right
just
up.
saw it,
Run
man.
right up and hug the commissioner.
So
Yeah,
who does Dable and Sheen pick here? Icky or Neil?
This guy, I'm thinking Icky.
I'm gonna be.
I think I like Neil a little better, but I think they'll go Icky.
I do like Neil a little better, but I'm not a good tackle evaluator.
I don't know anything about.
I'm not a
tackles,
good
so I'm just
lineman
guessing.
evaluator.
Oh, I'm not gonna say I'm a good evaluator, but I wasn't gonna take.
I've
away
seen
the little
Cross. I've
credibility
seen
I had.
Cross at this spot too. So, I'm
Yeah, my
not,
friend's
so-
a Giants fan, and he goes, "I swear, if they choose Cross out of the three."
Folks, we got the NFL draft squatting up here. It is time to call in the reinforcements on the Trainwreck Sports NFL Draft 2022 show. From Poncho's Army, it's Anthony T in the house.
Welcome.
How we doing, mister?
Very well. How you guys doing, guys?
Doing well. What do you think of Sauce
Living the
Gardner to the
dream.
Jets? The Jets are down bad. Everybody agrees.
I agree. I think they needed him. I definitely think they needed him. Something to bring to that atmosphere and up in New Jersey. So I like Sauce. I wish we would have got him, but we're stacked already.
Who the hell is this kid?
What do you
Is this
think
some guy
what do you think
hyping
of
up
what do
the
you think of
crowd on the
Vegas vote
stage?
situation, AT?
Rob, how are you ahead? Oh, I thought you already saw the pick. I'm like, how are you?
Yeah, me
No,
too.
there's just-
I'm going to take live myself.
Mhm.
I'm no tips this year from Twitter. I decided.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
I
my
wanted
phone
that
blow up
channel
during the
for
Jets
today.
pick. I was like, I'm not looking.
There's a
So what do you guys
genuine
thinking
beauty
for the
to not
Bills?
looking at Twitter and
Dude,
just
is that
riding
the-
it out on the broadcast.
Is that
Not a
Mr.
cell phone in
Peepers?
sight.
This
guy
kid is
is
really
so
hyped. Oh my
Yeah, this
god,
guy
he
is
is
like-
loving.
He's,
I mean, I'd be that
Yeah.
hyped too. If I was
He's
on the
living
Jazz.
his
No one's
dream
ever
right
been
now,
so
actually.
excited
Yeah,
about
this,
the Giants.
I believe he's a
It's like-
Make-A-Wish, and they did this
That's
really
awesome.
cool
Oh,
video
okay.
on him. Yeah, it was really
Oh,
really
nice.
cool.
Okay, that is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
that.
Eli
Good
for
Manning and
him.
Dable like send him off. Like they
Yeah.
were all there.
Oh
I
no
love
way.
that.
Okay. Good for him.
Oh, everyone's so hyped.
Oh, are
They're
you
matching
kidding me?
his
If the
energy.
Bills
That's what I'm
were
saying.
picking
I would be so
five, I would
hyped.
bring
I
a
don't know what I
Dable
would
onto
do.
the
I'd just be
stage.
getting everybody.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Oh,
Why
he's gonna
not?
announce the pick too.
Let's go.
Wow, he's doing
I'm
double
hyped
hands
now.
like
I'm
he's
so
stopping
hyped
one
up for this
hand and
Giants
he's
thing.
alternating.
Let's go.
That's better than the first round draft pick emotions. He looked like Dick Duran.
Kayvon Thibodeau. No
Oh, wow.
offensive tackle.
Yo, what if this kid just
Well,
gave Roger
here's the
Goodell
thing,
a
though.
stunner?
Here's the thing, though, is they can
Value.
they're gonna get somebody at 7 if they
And they're
want
gonna get the
them, too.
tackle
The
still at
Carolinas
7.
Yeah,
not
no,
taking-
that's smart. I think that's a smart move by them.
I do
Is
too.
this like the Electoral College though? Can he just like say a different name and it's set in stone? Like if he decides he wants a different player, he just says it.
He's just like,
you know,
Kayvon
it's like I don't care
Thibodeau.
who you voted for. Like
I'm done with that guy.
this is who we're electing.
That collar is bedazzled.
Oh
Oh, look
man,
at that.
Yeah, that's a good
I
look.
could
That just
never
worries-
pull that off.
No,
Yeah.
That
Guys
just worries
are
me
doing the
now.
two,
That
Thanks for the
worries me
vote
as
of
a Jets
confidence,
fan
Ryan.
now. Having to worry if KT is going to dominate when we passed up on him. That's going to worry me forever.
Mm.
We're playing in the same stadium as them. Oh,
Well, I know Ryan Talbot. I know you got to jump ship. Hopefully, your buddy Matt Perino will be joining us in a short while. We got to have some New York Upstate representation in here at some point. But again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Best of luck with your coverage for the night. Okay.
thank you, absolutely, guys. Had a blast.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Talbot.
Ryan, good
Have
to
a
see you,
weekend.
Ryan.
Good seeing you.
Go Bills.
All right, so is this
Oh,
the quarterback start of the quarterback run? Because I've never believed that we're not getting at least 3 quarterbacks in this first round, and Carolina here at 6 has been the first spot for them.
I still think
See-
we're going off at the line here.
Carolina gets off.
I wouldn't be
line.
surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Is
See, I
Baker
feel like-
Mayfield better than any quarterback right now sitting out there.
Dude, I don't.
Definitely,
I
right?
just,
Not even a
do you want to
question.
pay him 18 million?
yeah,
Do you want to
yeah.
pay him 18 million this year though?
I mean, obviously, 18 million for a quarterback. That's like
It's really not
Tyrod
bad.
money. That's really not
Yeah,
even that
it's
much.
really not bad.
As crazy as it is, like when Flacco got like 6
Yeah.
years for 100 million, I remember that like broke the market like 10 years ago. Now 18 million for a quarterback is like serviceable.
Yo, when Flacco got that deal, people were going.
People were
nuts.
like, "Holy shit,
People were
Flacco,
going crazy.
you idiot."
Flacco got that? What?
Keep in mind at that point he had like a 13-5 like playoff record career. Like it was insane the start to like his
Oh,
career.
yeah.
So,
But
but
see, like,
No, I do agree, Baker, and this is a team. where I feel like Baker could be an option just because Rule is going to be desperate. Like,
Oh,
he's on the chopping block this year.
There is
sure.
nothing more
Yeah.
dangerous than a desperate man, and that means there's
Exactly.
no one more dangerous in the NFL than
Especially
Matt
in
Rule,
the
because that
NFL
guy
draft.
is just so overmatched at every point. He will do anything to get an advantage.
He is
right
fighting
now.
an uphill battle, man.
Now,
he really is.
Some of the rumors I've heard coming out of Carolina, and it's rumors that anyone else on Twitter can hear, so I'm not going to act like I'm special, but they like
No,
they basically
buddy, you're special.
Sources to wait.
Shit, thanks,
You're
Dom.
always special, Tom.
I'm gonna cry, man.
Down with the positive vibes
But
always.
the one thing I've been hearing is that they are allegedly so afraid of what Matt Rule could do with another failed quarterback, like what he did bringing in Sam Darnold. Like that was a clear mistake on their part. They're kind of just saying, hey, don't take a quarterback unless you're positive. Like they kind of want him to set up the roster around the quarterback, like what we saw the Chiefs do with Pat Mahomes, what the Bills did with Josh Allen. Like I feel like the two AFC powerhouses right now kind of set the lay of the land for how most teams appear to be addressing quarterback right now. And it's fun to say that the Bills were trailblazers there.
Thank God, right? It's
I still like Josh Patel, Sam Darnold, man. I still like that dude. He's got talent.
I do think he's been screwed his whole career.
I just think his coaching
Sam Darnold with McVay
really hurt him.
If you put Sam Darnold with McVay, he would be like a 30 touchdown, 10 interception guy. Is that a crazy take?
He's always going to throw picks, and I think that's what a lot of coaches don't want to live with. Like he's just kind of got that.
Every quarterback's going to throw picks, man.
Exactly. The one thing that I think about this, the way teams like that are quarterback needy, also looking at this draft, is next year's class is so much better. Like you got Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like those guys are going to go 1 and 2, and there's other guys that are going to pop up on that list. Like next year's QB draft is great. So a Panthers team being like, all right, we could just build this year and then do whatever we need to do to get one of those guys. Those guys are going to be game changers. I don't know which one of these guys is going to be the game changer.
And the pick is in. I thought maybe with it getting so close down that they might be going for a trade. I did see Carolina. I said earlier, and I don't know why I thought the Bills would try to get all the way up here, but trading out just seemed like a logical thing for them. Not a lot of picks, rebuilding, and nowhere near ready to compete. Like it just seemed like it made sense, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see what they do here. Is it a wide receiver? It's got to be a wide receiver or a tackle, in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes.
That would be crazy if the receiver run started now. Then I would think that we're getting because I feel like we could get like 8 wide receivers in this first round because the teams are gonna if there's teams that if the run starts early and there are teams later on that feel like they're wide receiver needy, that's where the trade backs start. I feel like. Start coming in and everything like that. That would be nice if it's a Wilson here.
Especially after the offseason, like Christian Kirk getting $20 million a year, $21 million a year on the open market.
Christian Kirk's agent, like
he's the real MVP of the offseason. Yeah.
Round of applause.
He got everybody paid. Like all those new wide receivers, all those wide receivers got new contracts right after the Kirk deal because they're like, Kirk is getting $21 million a year. Like what?
And there's still more to go.
And there's still more to go.
That's the worst. Yeah.
Hopefully there's one in about half hour.
Is Deebo Samuel a double first name? I would say no.
What's his middle name?
What?
That's a good point. All right. Let's see.
Deebo Samuel, unfortunately.
John Wayne Casey over here.
He falls under what I call the LeBron James conundrum, where his first name isn't actually a first name. I'm sorry.
So Deebo is actually not his first name. His full legal name is Tyshon Raekwon Samuel.
Okay, if
so
Tyshon, I give Tyshon. Yeah, he has like 3
first names.
He's got 3 first names.
Got 3 first names.
Serial killer.
4.
I tried to trade him too. If I was
4 first names.
Deebo's the nickname.
Deebo's the nickname.
Deebo is like such a cool name compared to those names.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all good, but Deebo's way cooler.
Deebo didn't last in Friday, so.
That's true.
It's my bike, punk.
I steal, I don't kill.
Welcome back, Meerkat.
What is up, everybody? I'm back.
Meerkat just came fresh from
What's up, Big Daddy? How's the new job?
The new job is awesome. I love it. Shout out David Adams. I'm having a great time. Different thing.
Shout out Bush. Bush.
Shout out Bush. Shout out.
Oh, no shout out for Bush.
No. Sponsor
Blue.
Oh, wait, yeah. Actually, Fat Blue is sponsoring the golf tournament this year. So
okay, there we go.
Good.
There we go, Poncho's Army.
Prairie Artisan Ale.
Let's go. Cheers, boys.
Does Carolina go with, or do they go elsewhere? Malik Willis has been picked by Carolina. This is my pick. I love Malik Willis. We cash another prop bet.
His over.
What about the Bills? Who we picking?
Like that. Oh my god.
Malik Willis
For the Bills,
I love that for them.
My top three guys: Andrew Booth, Trent McDuffie. If Trent McDuffie falls, and Daxton Hill. Shout out to Michigan.
Boom. Fighting.
Man, I see Malik Willis was my favorite quarterback. How'd you? Oh, someone went on Twitter.
I love Malik.
I love Malik Willis. He is
this is
talented.
Mayor Cat, when you were gone, we were just talking about the court, like if they were going to go quarterback here.
It's not Malik Willis. It's not Malik Willis.
It just said it on the screen. What?
A misreport.
It's Icky.
What?
It's Ikem Ekwonu.
It's Icky. Oh, that's so
It's
bad.
Icky.
That is so bad.
Oh no, we didn't make it 6 picks.
Oh no.
Stop the draft.
Malik's gonna slip. We're dead.
We're dead.
Done. We're dead.
But you
Man,
know
we
what?
got there.
Indirectly-
Okay, so it's
indirectly,
I just got so hard.
Trainwreck just
That's
got
okay.
a whisper out there though that there's a lot of fire around Malik Willis, and that could lead to some earthquakes down the line.
Definitely could. I mean, now was Icky was not the one that we said was bona fide the worst of the top 3 tackles. So at least good for them on that. Now the Giants are back up, and you got to assume they're taking one of the last 2 there of the big 3.
I think they have to. This has got to be.
I think you're trading
Neil
Neil.
here. Yeah,
They're
getting
trading.
Neil here would be an absolute steal for the Giants. The Giants could have taken
think
Neil
the
where they
Giants
took
trade this
Thibodeau.
pick.
No one would have cared.
Did anyone just see Roger Goodell straight struggling with like an 8-mile-per-hour wind? Like his hair was like split down the middle, and he was like leaning into it. He was like, it looks like when you're walking down to KeyBank Center and you hit that last stretch that just the wind is always crazy.
No, I was gonna say when you're walking up from the Commons on UB and you hit that wind tunnel that all the freshmen get stuck in because they don't know it's there.
I agree.
I used to do my homework in the library just so I'd be able to watch the people struggle walking up that hill. There's a perfect Scott in the corner. It's amazing.
Can I tell you that? Go ahead.
Did you ever see the video from that KJ Osborne made?
Oh yeah. No,
that went viral of people walking up the hill.
No, it was.
Can I tell you that
spectacular.
Kent State had a wind tunnel as well, and we were told that they designed the campus for wind to whip through it. It was like copying a design of like Arizona State, and I'm like, why in the middle of Ohio would you decide that you need wind whipping through this? It was horrible, like absolutely horrible. And on campus, one of the main roads is straight uphill.
The funny thing,
so it's like, what are you
guys
doing?
see me make that?
That was baller.
EK. I don't know which broadcast you guys are watching, but on the NFL Network they did 3 things, and like one was like great strength, the second was like nice agility, and then the third was just Jason Peters. That's not like I guess that's a hell of a comparison. Jason Peters is a crazy
a hell of a
athlete.
comparison. That is a hell of a
the pick
comparison.
is in. They'll not be traded.
No trade.
Micah, the funny thing is how Kent State is apparently modeled after that Arizona school. Buff State is as well.
Why? What is the point of
I know.
that? It just doesn't make sense.
No, in the 1 year I went there, I just got sick of the wind, and then I went to UB. That's literally all
you
that
don't
happened.
need more wind in the Midwest or Western New York. You just don't. I promise. And I live in Chicago now too. I promise. Like it does. You don't need more wind.
No. Good Lord.
Nobody likes windy football. We like snowy football. We like messy football, but windy
football's fun.
Not fun to watch.
How many of you guys were at
the game? It's not fun.
How many of you guys were at the wind game this year?
Yeah, I was. It was.
It was
not
one of
fun.
the worst experiences of. I don't know what I was thinking. I bought those tickets
was
actually
terrible.
so far ahead of time. It was
Which
like a
one?
nice Christmas present for my family, and then we're looking. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, guys, you see what this is about to look like?" And it was
I'll
good.
see you up there this year, Jake.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Soldier Field is going to be crazy.
That's on the bucket list, baby. Let's go. That
Oh,
and
yeah.
Cincinnati.
Oh, Paul Brown's beautiful, right on the river there.
There are a lot of good road trip opportunities this year on the schedule.
They're all pretty close.
Speaking of one man who loves to add
Especially
to the
LA.
craziness, no matter what the circumstances, from LA to Toronto in the 6, Troy LeCastro.
Troy LeCastro, let's go.
Here's the real question: how would Mel Kiper's hair hold up in this wind right now?
Oh, he'd be done.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Dark Dunzo.
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Dude,
Living the
Mel
dream.
Kiper-
Nightmare.
What's up, man?
If Mel
That's
Kiper
why
caught a
Bearcat. I didn't even
50-mile-per-hour
see
gust,
that Wyoming jersey. Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
parasail.
Sexy. Sexy.
Got to.
What a mark.
Got to remind myself how wrong I was about our boy every time. The
You
draft
didn't
comes
even
around
need
now.
that jersey. You're gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
I get to look at him every day at work now.
Right? It's just an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Celebrity breaker, close personal friend of Drake, overall international celebrity, Troy LeCastro. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Honor's all mine. Let me be honest. I mean, this doesn't even pale in comparison to meeting Drake. I mean, that's an
What
average.
is going on with my TV?
How's your draft?
I don't know
night
what's
going?
going on with your TV, Rob.
Draft night's all right. Let's just say, I was supposed to have a buddy over here, and he bailed on me.
Oh,
Guy
no.
canceled last minute, so now I'm just enjoying it by myself.
Well, now you got 6 buddies.
Yeah, exactly. It's way better, and it's
There you go.
virtual. It's way better.
Give me I want to hear the excuse that your friend came with to ditch you, and I'm going to give it a round-based grade, 1 to 7.
Right.
There we go.
Why do you still want to hear it?
Best part is I can watch the draft with my pants off now if I want to.
That is huge.
There you go.
That's what I love
Oh.
about working from home.
Mine are off right now.
That's like Charlie Sheen. Winning.
That's the definition of winning right there. That's right. Drinking a little tiger's blood.
Well, with Charlie Sheen, you need a big bag of cocaine.
We made it a whole hour before illicit drugs got mentioned on the NFL
no.
draft stream. Huge.
That might be a
is
new
huge.
record, actually. That beats last year, so we're.
You know what it
moving in
is?
the right direction.
It's like when you make a call and you wait like 10 seconds to see if the FBI's tapped in. It's like you wait an hour to make sure the FCC lets it go, and then you can start talking about the good stuff.
We literally referenced Charlie Sheen.
That's fair.
We got to get into those out. Yeah, we're into those hours, right? The FCC hours.
Yeah, it is FCC o'clock.
All right, here is the excuse, and I quote, "Hey, man, I
Okay.
just got home, and I'm going to be honest. I don't really want to head out again after I shower and eat some food, so I'm going to pass on tonight, and I'm sorry." End quote.
You know what?
Okay,
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
say-
Here's the thing. A lot of people
Honesty.
out there. A lot of
Honest.
people out there are gonna say this is a really bad and weak sauce excuse. I can already hear the internet hate. But let me tell you something. There's a lot of truth and character behind that. Because
Absolutely.
how often do you get a friend come over? Oh, they'll stay for 10 minutes and then tell you that. How often do they just not respond? How often? I mean, you get ghosted in that situation. That's a 6th. That's a 7th round pick. I'm giving that a low 2nd, high 3rd round. That's a character. That's someone I can build my organization around. Someone that's going to be honest with me, and someone that's going to be a straight shooter.
True teammate.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. He's up front with you. He's not playing games. He's not beating around the bush. He's straight to the point. So, I got to give him credit for that.
Yeah,
Love
give me
that
a
for
straight
you and
shooter
for
all
him.
day.
He fucking said, "I'm sorry."
He did.
I'm
did.
sorry.
He was
That's true,
honest.
huh?
He
He
apologized. Now it might be not the best reason, but at least he was honest about hey, I'm just too tired. But
Yeah.
I get it.
Guys,
But,
it's
sometimes you gotta persevere on a night like draft night. Your boys alone. I mean,
A little bit.
I'm gonna give it
don't wanna say it.
like a 7.8 out of 10. Easily passing. It's a good grade, but we could have had more out of that.
I
Does
saw
he have
it.
kids?
Here's the spin zone. Is the Bills' success and thus a longer night because a later draft pick costing Troy LeCastro friendships here? Because that's something I want to consider with this team's overall success.
I don't think we can rule it out. Okay, you can't rule out. The whole pandemic has made excuses way too easy for people. Not leaving the house, so, I'm just saying. Something there.
There's been some
I've used
extravagant
all of
ones
them.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are getting more elaborate in their scheming and their lies now.
Well, see, I just have an older reliable. It's unbeatable, unbreakable. My friends know I'm lactose intolerant. We got plans. I just say, hey guys, couldn't help myself. Ate a bunch of cheese. Not going out. And they know how much I love cheese, and so it's valid.
Shit happened.
That's
amazing. Don't get between the cat and his cheese.
That's amazing.
Never.
Speaking of unbeatable, speaking of unbreakable, speaking of a nose for the football. Whoa. Get him in here, Joe Cons.
What a stud. Oh my God.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Big fella.
There's no question. That's a round one appearance right there.
Dude, you've even got the big screen. That's beaut.
I even got the big fella shirt. Shout out Devin Siobhan, my homie at Seneca One. Great shirt.
Shout out.
Shout out DC. He's a good guy.
What's going on, guys? How we feeling? How we feeling about the Oh God, is that Rob Ryan? Yikes.
Yeah, no.
I'm
not thrilled about it.
Good to see you guys.
Speaking of down bad, the Sabres are currently down 2-0 to the Bruins on the road. Not crazy unpredictable, but they have 20 minutes to make that run. Right. By the way, across the NBA world, and I know Mike has obviously got a side eye on this, 76ers after a big third quarter. My goodness, a 37-17 barrage lead by 21. And the Suns trail the Pelicans by 6 in the third quarter.
Let's go!
A lot of crazy.
Let's go!
Wake, we haven't even touched on the Pelicans. This is probably the craziest run you've ever had.
Is this the first wide receiver?
And first, let's see if this is a wide receiver.
Yep.
It's Drake London.
Fonzie's got something.
Is it Drake London?
I don't think
I hate Drake London too.
I don't hate Drake
London. There's no other way possible.
When they start comparing receivers to basketball players, that always worries me because it means you can't run a route.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
when they lead off, he's like a basketball player. It's like, okay, but he's a football player, so we really need to focus on that part.
Jake,
first.
did you know though? Antonio Gates played basketball in high school.
Well, trust me, I do know because he played basketball at college.
Not many people know
at
that.
Kent State University. That's why
Drake
I know.
London sounds like he's from London.
He does.
I'm from London.
Troy must love this pick. But I don't get it. Drake London's good. He's a top 15 guy.
I can't believe he's the first receiver. I really can't.
He's the least versatile.
Wilson,
he's
like
pure
deep more, but
I like J-Mo the most.
Oh, is this trending good for the Bills right now? First receiver is Drake London, and it's pick 8. I mean,
dude, guy's got noodles for ankles. He missed the last 4 games with ankle injuries. Like I'm sorry,
he really is a basketball player.
He's gonna fizzle out.
Paul loves me.
Oh yeah,
USC receivers are great though.
I went there.
Paul
receivers in this house.
Mr. Glass.
Who's that?
Bob Trees.
Paul Lesney.
I thought Paul Lesney was the next GOAT, man. I thought he was going to.
Dude, that dude was Mr. Glass, bro.
Down, he was. It was
bones made of glass.
He broke his
diameter
forearm,
of Paul
like
Lesney's neck was at least 36 inches.
Poor Lesney played for the Bills and then the Jags in his career, and then they did make the playoffs with the Jags. But
he always got me.
I was just damn, bro. You put yourself through it. Like he didn't have to do that Jags part.
He always
just like
need fantasy points though because he would tackle 30 yards down.
That's true.
And he just
bro, he would have so many tackles.
When he played.
He was.
I gotta say, it feels real weird seeing highlights of Phillip Rivers in a Chargers uniform and having them beat a Vincent Jackson. That's real weird. That does not feel like it was so long ago. Oh my God, that's weird.
Shout out to Vincent Jackson.
Like shout out Vincent Jackson and shout out New York Upstate one more time. I said we were hoping to get the better half of that duo. And maybe I called Ryan Talbot the better half earlier, but that's neither here nor there. Matt Perino, otherwise known as Kanz's father, thank you for being here. Is it a little too late for Kanz to be on his computer? Is it a little late? Does he have internet privileges past 9 p.m.?
Street lights are on.
So wait. Who's got internet privileges after 9 o'clock? Who are you talking to?
I'm
Me?
asking if Cons does. Yeah, I'm asking
Oh,
if
Cons does.
Yours,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I just saw Conzi a couple days ago down at the Seneca One Tower. He gave me a tour, so it's kind of rude of me to have this handle down here. But you know what? We go way back. I saw him wearing the glasses. I had to make a little joke. What's up, boys?
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
What do you got for us, man? What do you think about this draft so far? Drake London to Atlanta.
We don't know how to digest what's going on right now.
Drake London to Atlanta, the first receiver off the board. I think we were all a little puzzled by that. Is there someone you probably imagine seeing go sooner before him and the wide receivers?
No, I think Drake must have gotten a pretty good tip off, because I think I saw a tweet out there that he bet like 80 grand or 100 grand on Drake London being the first wide receiver off the board. So as soon as I saw that bet, I'm like, all right, he heard something or got a tip off.
What's weird? He didn't call me about that bet.
He should have tipped you off, bro.
I thought he'd ask you.
I thought, right. You think he, you know the guy. You think he would give you a little tip off or something. Apparently, he doesn't want to share the pot here.
Man.
Just wisdom breaking reports.
JG Wentworth, that's my money, and I need it now.
Who's running that, Maniac? Where's Maniac and Al? Are they in here?
Shout out JG Wentworth.
Al's coming on in a little bit. Maniac said he needed 90 seconds, but that was like 340 seconds ago. So we'll see when he gets back.
Right,
I didn't even know he was gone.
Al's grilling with GM Smokey right now. I think he'll be on soon, but we're glad to have you, Constance father, Matt.
No, what's funny about that is people don't understand this. Like, me and Konzi are like best friends. Like, we go back like how many years, Joe? Like 2008, right? 2009?
2010.
The heart and soul of UB Spectrum.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What's up, Maddie?
Who do we got in here now? I'm trying to go through all these different people. What's up, buddy? Poncho's Army's in here. I'm good, man. How are you? All right,
living the dream, surviving the nightmare.
Very good. Are you in Buffalo?
I live in Buffalo.
I know. Are you in Buffalo right now?
I'm at home.
Okay. Very nice.
Not in Buffalo.
An undisclosed bunker.
I couldn't tell if you were it looked like you were at like a bar or something. I couldn't tell.
Yo, I'm at my man cave, bro.
Very nice. Very nice. Impressive.
Yo, check this shit out. You fuckers don't even know.
You fuckers don't even know.
Check this motherfucker out.
Very nice.
It's a big barn.
That's a great space.
It's a nice little barn.
Definitely from Buffalo. Barn.
Well,
Pick is
it's
in
a
for the Seahawks.
barn. It's like a bar.
We have to pick in for the Seahawks.
Yes.
Can the Seahawks potentially take Malik Willis, or are the rumors true that they love Riddler and they're going to try to get
Who do they got for quarterback?
How many times can we get Malik Willis picked on this stream?
This is going to be the third
Well, he's
time.
been picked once already.
We'll get another one when the Commanders.
Drew Lock's taking him to the promised land. Obviously.
Who do they got for a quarterback?
I didn't know I could add myself back.
They did just re-sign Geno Smith, which shout out to Geno Smith. Getting his money. He played well last year. I mean, he's not going to be their starter. There's no chance, right?
Geno Smith's got it made.
I love Malik Willis. I really just want to see him be in a good situation. I think Seahawks would be a good spot for him.
Got it fucking made.
Shout out Nate Peterman.
Yeah, big shout out.
Do we have to?
Those legend right there.
Nate Peterman was basically like the biggest like question mark of the McDermott era.
That was the only Bills game I missed like any part of that year. Like I was doing something else that day, so I missed like the first however long it took Pure Peterman to pull his Peterman. And so I came back to my room and I was like, with my boys, I was like, yo, let's go with the Bills game. What's going on? And I literally couldn't believe it. Like I thought they were sincerely lying to me. It was like the cruelest joke that my friends ever made.
That Chargers game.
It was not a joke. That was I'm glad I missed it, honestly. Like it was the best break I've ever gotten in my life. I think I would have quit football if I had to watch that. So you guys are all impressive for hanging on here. So I don't.
What's the consensus?
Especially as a huge Tyrod fan.
True.
What's the consensus for you guys in this chat here? Who you think the Bills are going to take? Have you arrived on that yet or no?
Charles Cross.
I was just gonna ask you that question, Matt. You like read my mind right there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we got like 5 new people in here. We haven't seen who they want.
We're kind of like corner receiver right now, mainly corner, mainly corner. Shout out Dax.
I'm a receiver. I'm a receiver guy here. So
there's no Breece Hall truthers in the mix here.
No, sir. We are.
I'm an anti-Breece Hall truther.
Yes,
I'm not anti-Breece Hall, but I'm not gonna support him either. I'm just gonna let him sit over there.
Y'all know Breece. He's getting drafted. That's what happened.
He's gonna get drafted. He's not by us.
The Bills might draft.
I'm
him.
team whoever has the easiest
This
name
is
to
the
make a
second
cool shirt about.
I'm an outsider, and I said offensive line.
Marketing professional right there.
Breece Hall has like 10 different shirt possibilities. Like life is but a Breece. Like kids in the hall.
Charles Cross.
That's my guy.
We might just take our.
That's my guy.
Who is he going to be protecting?
Russell Wilson has to be
Here we
like,
go. Now I have to watch this clock go down. Please switch to.
You motherfucker! They tried. Yeah, I like that dude. They took his ass.
Good for them. Good for them.
I'm behind. So thanks for spoiling it for me, Maricat.
Oh, I'll wait 30 seconds. Now I'm behind too. I'm streaming it. I'm not even like going through my cable. So
I'm on Sling TV and it's a little behind. I think Rob Ryan.
I'm in like Springville and I'm like way too far.
Rob Ryan's like got a live feed. He's FaceTiming somebody
What
at
are you
the
on,
draft
Rob?
with how early he's getting.
I'm on like regular. I'm on like cable vision.
Matt,
You're bougie. You're bougie.
So the big thing here.
Stadium, Matt.
Yeah, I'm at Stadium.
Team.
So the big observation that I have from the top 10, I'll drop this in before I get out of here. Kyle Hamilton has not gone yet. We're about to get to pick number 10. As we get to 11, that's when I feel like it's almost becomes the watch for if Brandon Beane wants to get aggressive. I feel like he's one of the dudes that he might be looking to get aggressive and trade up for. Either him, Jamison Williams is obviously in the mix too, one receiver off the board already. But I'm very interested to see when the next corner goes. 2 went early. I thought that there could be a chance that there could be a third going in the top 10 if Sauce and Stingley went that early. We'll see. Shout out to Troy LeCastro, by the way. Bovey told me to say what's up.
Let's go.
Let's go. That guy. No, great guy.
All right, dude. I got to get out of here. I want to check in with you guys. Have a great night.
Pleasure as always.
Shout out Matt Perino. Oh, he ruined my whole bit that I was about to do. Damn it.
Yo, he was out like a fart in the wind.
Love him.
He was out quick.
Like a fart in the wind.
Probably, you know what? Hate to say it, the phone's probably ringing, and that's more important than the Trainwreck stream on tonight for a grinder like Perino.
Whoa.
Hey, we're
this
grinding
fucking train never stops.
Hey, no, but New York Upstate is paying for his house. This train never stops, but you know the deal.
You think if my mom calls, I'm answering right now? Hell no.
Whoa,
all right, Robbie.
Shout out the
Robbie,
moms.
are you guys trading? You guys trading down?
Stream.
I wish my mother would call me.
That's like a dark turn.
Sorry, I'm really watching this clock.
She's kind of passed away, so
I'm like really thick as in. Here we go.
All right, let's
go.
No Deebo Samuel, not yet though.
Let's let Rob take his
sure
last
Rob-
roll.
If this is not a wide receiver, is Deebo better be a Jeff for 2 seconds?
There's no trade announced as of now.
There's no trade. The pick is in.
The pick,
is in. No
I
Deebo,
think after this
sorry.
pick is where the chaos starts. We haven't seen any trade movement or anything yet. Like,
I will
I
say,
assume it's Wilson or JMO.
It's got. I wouldn't think Wilson would be.
Kyle
that good,
Hamilton.
to be honest.
Perino brought up Kyle Hamilton. In my opinion, is the best overall football player in this draft.
I think so. Yeah, I'm with you.
See, the only thing I think if they go Hamilton, there is a trade happening somewhere to get a wide receiver. Because where are they getting their wide receiver from then?
Yeah.
Is Kyle
maybe if you guys gave Denzel
in the
Mims the
round.
run he deserves,
shout out
you'd
Blue.
have a receiver.
Shout out Mims.
Shout out Denzel Mims. Still gonna draft
I just saw it tweeted. I don't want to spoil it if anybody's
no Twitter.
Yeah, no tweet.
I already got
Dell's in the future right now. That's
Classic
really
Dell.
That's why
He's got that premium Twitter. It must be that premium Twitter.
Yeah, I have like 30 notifications, so I probably have it also, but I'm not looking.
Yeah, I'm avoiding Twitter.
Twitter locks me out of my account right now, so there's that.
Speaking of things we don't like, I think the Sabres are down 4-0.
Oh yeah, I've got
bro. Hey, don't call it a comeback.
Why?
Yeah.
Hey, we still won the trade, eh?
We won the trade. We won all the trades. Did Bjork even score this year? We won that trade. Bjork, we won.
That is true.
Uncle trade won.
I'm a big Bjork guy. Still
big
Bjork
fucking Bjork guy.
Bjork was literally blanket, and you missed him this year.
I don't remember Bjork playing this year, but I remember him playing right when we traded for him, and that was fun.
I just remember the name.
Anders Bjork. That is
that's a good name.
Yeah,
good name.
That's a great
hockey name. Great hockey name.
That's a double first name.
A little Wilson to Wilson.
That's a double first name.
Pronounced as a J. It's elite.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Bjork is a big for positive.
Garrett Wilson.
A little Wilson to Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Wilson to Wilson.
It's not a bad pick.
Not
a bad pick, but doesn't scare me as much as Jameson did.
What punt are they going to use?
So Jamo was still out there. Oh my gosh.
What punt are they going to use in the New York Post when they have a bad game? Wilson.
Wilson. Drew.
They should undraft him just based on that suit alone.
Wilson.
Yeah, it'll probably be like Zach Wilson laying down sacked, but then they'll Photoshop in the volleyball Wilson, and that'll be the play.
That would be a New York Times move. Del, did we get your opinions on what you want the Bill to do at pick 25 yet?
No, we haven't talked about that yet.
I want to pick your brain. I want to hear what you want for the Bills.
I want a corner, man. And like I said before, I'm not an expert in terms of every single player available and all that, but I would really like a corner. That said, I don't know. I think about Breece Hall and I get all kind of it's exciting to think about too. So what's that?
I said he's electric, man. I can see why you like him.
Yeah. So I've seen a bunch of his highlights and whatnot. But it's one of those heart versus head things. My head says we need a corner. I don't have to get into the reasons why. Everybody knows why. It's pretty thin there. So would not be upset at all if they did that. And selfishly, I wouldn't be so upset if the Bills have 8 draft picks. They drafted 8 dudes and bring in UDFAs, and are they all making the team? I don't think so. So I would love to see a little bit of trade up. Can
we afford it?
I guess
we afford it?
Trading, right?
Yeah.
How far are they moving up? Are they just drop? I think they getting rid of a second or a third or whatever. Do they have a little bit of ammunition to move up there? So maybe not up until where we are right now. But
I seen a tweet. Yeah. I seen a tweet where it said, "I don't care if we trade for a bag of hockey pucks. Trust the process."
Yeah, that's my viewpoint at this point. I don't want Breece Hall, but if it's Breece Hall, in Bean we trust. # in Bean we trust. Brandon Bean hasn't really steered us wrong yet. I mean, you can point out a few things, sure, but other than a few things, the positives just so far outweigh any possible negative. And he's crushed it in the draft. Our scouting department has been incredible, especially finding mid-round talent so far. And so, it's always exciting, especially in a later round pick. I mean, Trey White wasn't a top 10, 15 guy. We can get a good member of the secondary at 25. And I think with the way the draft's playing out right now, we might see McDuffie fall. We might have our pick of the litter at 25, honestly. In the secondary, we might have a couple of receivers. The way Jameson Williams has not been taking it, it's astounding to me. I expect him to go soon, but you see him drop past 15 to where the Eagles have those double picks and stuff, and the Bills have the ammo, like Del said, to trade up. We could see a exciting move. Brandon Bean, I'm sure, is starting to, his phone finger's getting a little itchy. He wants to start those phone calls really soon because there are some big names dropping. Prino brought it up too. Safety, not an immediate need at all, but Poyer and Hyde both over 30. Poyer's deal is up after this season. Hyde's is up in 2 years. Kyle Hamilton is the best player in this draft. There's a lot of possibilities, and I love how this board is playing out for the Bills right now.
I do too. I agree.
Yep. I ultimately I don't care who Brandon Beane drafts, because for all of us, most of our adult lives, this has been our Super Bowl. Like I said earlier, we're not used to drafting after 11 o'clock, and so by now normally the pick is in. We're already arguing with why it was good or bad with each other on Twitter. So whatever they want to do, man. If they want to draft another quarterback, so be it. That's okay, it's a bit much, but I trust him so much in terms of whatever he's gonna do. Like whatever, man. It's fine. It's just it'll be fun to see how it fits in, and to figure out why he went that direction, whatever direction that was.
Yeah, because there are a lot of different routes that can be gone tonight. But whether it's corner, receiver, interior offensive line, people are projecting linebacker, even Hamilton's in place. We can take this is a luxury pick, guys.
That's the thing, and they've shown that they can find value literally in every round with this regime that they've had. Like Dane Jackson, we're talking about potentially starting this year is literally a 7th rounder. Like they have value through every round of the draft. So with these first 3 picks, it's so much fun because it's going to be a high talent guy, and we just, like you said, Del, we just feel like it's going to work out no matter what way. So it's really like coming from a position of strength for the first time.
I gotta be honest with you guys.
The strength and conditioning coach are freaking all
What's
our.
up, Con?
I was gonna say I gotta be honest with you guys. I haven't really followed the draft prospects like I normally do. I am just at the point now. I think I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what Del said. I watch the draft now as just icing on the cake. We have a great blueprint for success, and all I want is to just win a Super Bowl. I think we all do. I think we all want to win an AFC championship, win a Super Bowl. And I used to just be like, oh, I can't believe we drafted that guy, or I can't believe we did this. But now I'm sitting there wishing the Bills would draft like they did in 2006 when they got Dante Whitner and Ashton Yabodi. Those are 2 players I look at now that I was like,
Ashton Yabodi. Oh my god,
another cornerback. I'm just trying to piece things together, and everything for me, instead of who's a top prospect. Damn, if we had this guy, now this is exactly what we need. So it's just funny that we're thinking completely different now. But the one thing I do want to bring up that's amazing that I love about the city of Buffalo right now is that everywhere you go, if you don't say "Go Bills" now, whether it's on Main Street, Delaware, Elmwood, people get genuinely mad at you now. So all day today, I purposely didn't say "Go Bills," and I hope it doesn't backfire. But people just looked at me like, "The hell did you forget to say something?" And I was like, "No, I'm doing it on purpose." People genuinely get pissed off now when you don't say "Go Bills," and I freaking love that. I love that so much, and it just warms my heart because that psyche of Buffalo being an old city that's run down is now just blossoming into something great. And I think it has a lot to do with the Bills, and it's just great, man.
For
so
sure. Let me tell you that
everyone that I didn't say "Go Bills" to today, go freaking Bills. Viva los Bills!
Go Bills, bro. Tell me here in Chicago, anytime I have a Bills thing on, it is without fail that I see somebody with a Bills thing, and there is a very happy, very enthusiastic "Go Bills" from both parties. Very happy.
My kids, when they were growing up, they'd always say, "Why do you keep cheering for this team that loses all the time? Why do you do this every week?" And that's a tough question coming from a 6-year-old. When they're asking me, these are tough questions. I'm like, listen, because when the team is good, everything in the city, everything in Western New York is different. Someday you'll see, and they get it now. Literally every
you only support your family, brother.
Windows, they all say "Go Bills." So
the fact that Josh Allen's town sign is just the banner is still there. It's just so
still
incredible.
I was trying to explain that to my friend the
incredible.
other day who knows nothing about football, and she's just looking at me like, "What?
I still have my Allen Diggs 2020 sign out in my front lawn. It hasn't moved an inch since it went in there.
It's right there.
It'll never move.
Real quick, funny story about Josh Allen, because you guys will get a kick out of this. So I am next to Josh Allen, and I won't say where because I don't want to ruin what I have going for me. But I'm next to Josh Allen, and I turn to ask Josh Allen a question, and the sun's just shining perfectly on him, right? And like for a second, I look over to my left, and I'm like, he's not real. He's not real. He's just not real. And then he like reaches out and shakes my hand, and I'm like, he's real. He's so real. Like just that moment of like the sun shining on Josh Allen, like just blew my mind. And then you see him do all this crazy stuff on the field, and like I sometimes wonder if he's actually real, like if he's angelic or something. But like it was just incredible, just the way the sun was shining. So I got a man crush on Josh Allen. I mean,
thank you for sharing that moment.
So
that's awesome.
No problem.
So
Sorry,
yesterday,
there with you, buddy.
looking at these pictures of Josh all jacked up and everything, and so I say, is it weird that I would just totally let him punch me in the face like with those arms? And then goes, yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, like,
No, it's not.
Dude, come on, those arms like just connect, man. It just
right.
I feel like I'd
punch me, dude.
I'd let him rock
is
it
in.
and say he did.
Right?
You won't
see
you
this
won't make
broken
him
orbital
punch me,
bone.
Josh
That's
Allen,
Josh
sure.
Allen.
Yeah, I'd be like, you guys wouldn't believe what just happened to me.
Man, I would
Yeah,
love to be
straight up.
best friends with
Put your
Josh
name up.
Allen, but I said this a few weeks ago. I don't think I love Josh Allen so much. I wouldn't let him be best friends with me. That's how much I love him. No
my
matter
God,
how much
that's
I
so
wanted to be my
terrible.
best friend, I would be such
You
a
don't
bad
give yourself
influence
enough
on him,
credit.
I'm sure, that I wouldn't let it happen. If he was like, hey, dude, let's be best friends, I'd be like, I can't be that guy in your life, man. I can't be that bad influence.
You're not
I
that
just
guy.
love him so much.
Too
He
good
is
for
so
me.
pure.
You're too good for me.
I've known you for a month, and I can tell you right now, after knowing you for a month, yeah, that kid's career would be off the rails. If
Exactly.
1,000%.
Bearcat, you saw
I
In
do-
the spin
agree.
zone, though, with Josh Allen's angelic features, you become the best version of yourself, and thus Josh Allen continues to become the best version of himself.
Boom.
Boom. There we
Bearcat,
go.
you
Spin
literally
zone.
described one of my friends was asked to be a best man at a wedding, and he said, I respectfully declined because you wouldn't end up at the altar for that bachelor party. Like that's like kind of what that alluded to.
And that's a true friend. Sometimes you just got to
That is a
take
true
that.
friend.
You got to sacrifice
so
it.
great.
You know, in the situation, like me and Josh would still have that connection.
Oh,
You would. We know we could be best friends, but we just can't let it happen.
Yeah.
So we missed a trade
It's
here
understanding.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
draft. New Orleans trading up and snagging another wide receiver off the board. Back-to-back
Wow.
Ohio State wide receivers. Chris Olave off the board. I have a
You know
great
what?
Chris
I
Olave
like
story.
that.
It's not a great story,
Get
but
the Saints
my
out of the
uncle's-
NFL.
let's
That's
hear
just
it.
stupid.
My uncle is a professor at Ohio State, and Chris Olave predictably did not go to a single class of his, and he's a criminal justice professor, was enrolled in his class. He has football players, didn't go to a single class, and on the last day, predictably emailed the professor and was like, hey, how can I get an A in this class? He did not get an A, still played in the bowl game against
Detroit
Clemson.
traded
They
up.
still smacked him, and now he's a top number 11 pick in the draft. So it all works out. But that's my
Jake,
friend Chris
Jake,
Olave
you know what's
story.
funny? You know what's funny about that? It's funny because I'm not gonna like name names, but I'll never forget my senior year at college at UB going to class for all the athletes with all of their clickers and just pouring them out on the desk. And then just like when the quiz came, just in the corner like that, pressing all the buttons, and like the professor going, "Are you here for the basketball team and the football team?" I go, "Yeah. Is that okay?" He's like, "Yeah, we got a MAC title to win." I was like, "All right." So I'm in the corner just clicking, like I get it. Like I wasn't gonna be a jerk.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense.
So college was a sham for me, if you could tell.
That's hilarious. That is incredible.
You say sham, I just see a man who's constantly getting it done for everybody else. Who's
That's what I'm
building
saying,
Buffalo.
Conti. You're just making things happen.
The
bro.
man's building Buffalo.
You were literally like getting them to go compete for MAC titles. That is what you were doing. That's a service. to the
Fueling,
university.
Cons is fueling banners. That's what he's doing. Literally, they call him banner fuel around the
At that
campus.
time, I
It
was
takes
cheering
everybody.
for them,
They're like,
so-
"Oh, you banner fuel today?" Yeah, he's really fired up.
Well, the one guy that I cheated
So many
for
clicks.
missed like an open 3-point shot, and I was like, "Damn, I should have took his clicker to class."
Clicker regret.
It's all starting to make sense now.
What
These
was it?
picks are
Was
moving
it
quick.
location based?
Yo, Detroit has moved up a trade.
Detroit's
Well,
moved
they give
up.
Malik
It's already
Willis.
in
Detroit
the
has
trade
moved up to
process.
12.
Detroit
They're
pitches in.
biting ankles.
Who is this going to be with
they're not biting
Minnesota?
Drake
NFC
London's
North
ankles,
trade
they're weak.
action. Is it Kenny Pickett? Is it Matt Corral? Is it Desmond Ritter? It's got to be
Go ahead and say it's probably Malik Willis.
Is it Malik Willis?
Yeah.
I thought he was drafted already.
Stop it.
Keeps entering my mind.
I thought he was too. Okay.
Jake, are you Polish?
It was a pretty good fake out.
Jake's name was like 2 weeks ago, man. Lay off the sauce.
Listen, we've drafted Malik Willis like 3 times in this draft show. He still hasn't got picked. So
we still got Bobby Hart.
Bobby Hart.
So this is not
That
Washington.
dude's like a legend in Buffalo.
Robert Cardiac.
We want to get into it. Yeah, dude.
Bobby Hart is kind of a legend, like, and I don't say this condescendingly. He's a pro football player. He's like kind of like the Buffalo Bills, Mr. Irrelevant. He's like number 53 on the roster,
AKA Dean Cain.
Well, Dean Cain was also Superman. So, I mean, it's one thing to be, like, irrelevant with nothing to fall back on. He was Superman.
He's got that.
That motherfucker was not Superman.
He got what?
He was not.
He literally was.
He was literally Superman.
He literally was. That was the name of the show.
Was it Clark?
Was it Clark?
Bro, he was getting that network money with Terry Hatcher, dude.
He was not the first Superman, bro.
Not the first Superman. That was Christopher Reeve, but he was getting network money to be Superman. He was on it was on TBS.
Can you guys take care of this on a What's Trainwreck watching episode?
No, this needs to get settled right now because Dean. It's one of the little facts about like Dean Cain.
No.
What was that show?
All right, I gotta bounce.
It was like,
all right, Del,
thank you so much.
Del, good to see you, brother.
Go Bills.
Everybody but Joe. Take care.
Ouch.
Oh.
Damn,
all right. Here is the.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is more important. No, this is more important.
No, what was the show that Dean Cain was used to host back in the day? That was like mystery show.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Ripley's Believe It or Not. Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay. I needed to get it in my brain. It was like a tick. It was like a tick.
Be like, hi, I'm Dean Cain, and this is Believe It or Not.
Yeah,
like he was so good. And my dad, every episode, you know that was Superman.
Can you believe this woman has 87-inch fingernails?
This woman hasn't cleaned her house in 50 years.
And then A&E was like, oh, shoot, we can have a show called Hoarders. And then I got linked on Hoarders.
Boom.
And I got linked on Hoarders.
Hoarders, Mom. Hoarders. Thank you.
So the Lions pick has been in for a good, 12 minutes, and it has just been announced.
Jamison Williams.
Shit.
Jamison Williams.
That's another Ohio State wide receiver, kind of.
Just for a second.
Back-to-back Ohio State commits.
Yeah.
I just want to say about the Lions, the Lions with their picks over the last 10 years, besides Calvin Johnson and 10 years. Shoot, we're in 2022. Sorry.
Calvin Johnson was 20 years ago now.
20 years ago. Sorry, I'm getting old. Anyways, my point is I never know what the Lions' identity is. I never know what they're after. And it's so hard because when you're thinking about setting up your parlays for the season, you just look at that roster and you're like, they're going to be that team that screws up my parlay. And then sure enough, they win the one game you need to hit for $1,200. I hate you, Jared Goff. But anyways, my point is at what point they draft all these big name receivers, all these big name quarterbacks, all these big name players, and they never produce. It pisses me off.
What happened, Mike?
We have another trade. I said after 10 we're gonna chaos, and literally the first 3 picks have got traded. Philadelphia has moved up. This has got to be for a receiver because they were thinking that they could get Jamison Williams there at 15. So this might be. I mean, who's left? We got the
Malik Willis.
Wide receivers gone.
Is it Malik Willis? Is it finally Malik Willis time?
Malik Willis is gone already, isn't he? What do you mean?
Malik Willis was drafted pick 8, pick 6, and pick 12.
Williams.
I wanted to get some more run out of Malik Willis because we didn't get enough up front when we thought he was drafted.
So did the Eagles just trade up?
So the
to
Saints, the
not
Eagles
get
traded
one
up
of the top receivers.
pretty much.
Yeah, I'm trying to get our
Is
ticker
it
caught
Kyle
up, and these
Hamilton?
trades
I don't
are
know who
just
the
not
Eagles'
working.
safeties are. I'm not gonna.
You know what though? This is a win for the Saints because no matter what, if they can spend less money, that's a win for them right now because they have
That
like
is-
nothing to spend.
The Saints
Very
are dead
true.
for about the next half decade.
Yeah,
They're going nowhere.
And
this
to be
number's-
honest, it was on a Breeze noodle arm.
Love
It wasn't even on like elite Breeze.
All right, well,
No,
the Eagles'
I love, too,
safeties
is the
are
Patriots'
Marcus Epps
downfall.
and Anthony Harris, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But Kyle Hamilton, I think he's the best football player in this draft. Now, does that mean he should go number 1 overall? No, but I thought he had a very solid chance to go top 5, let alone be in the top 10 for sure.
He plays for Notre Dame.
I don't like Notre Dame players.
I
I'm
love
sorry,
Notre Dame.
guys. Unless it's a tight end, I don't really care.
You know what? Things are getting a little
All right,
crazy
all
now
right.
in this second set of 10 picks. I think we got to add some rock music to the stream. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong.
Can I request "Rock You Like a Hurricane," like the intro from the Sabres back in the day?
You know what? We bid
Oh,
on
bring
that
the
music,
strings,
but we didn't. I'll do it.
Oh yeah, bring in the strings.
Hey,
And that was epic.
guys, the other night I forgot
good.
where the Sabres playing, and where are the Sabres playing a couple games ago away on the road?
Devils.
Devils. Like at intermission, I love how like Marty Baron, like the whole time I'm thinking, man, the ice looks bad. He goes, oh yeah, the ice is bad, and like I just keep like thinking about it in my head whenever I think of the Sabres, like, oh yeah, the ice is bad, this or that. And I just, oh god,
or
I don't know, it's so random, but like, it's so.
Can we talk about how much, like, just for a second, like, it's such a treat to have Marty Baron every night. Like, he just, like, the intermissions are must watch with Marty Baron now. I love that man so much.
Like,
guy, he's
you don't
electric.
Get a guy like that.
He is electric.
Oh wait, they
He's
did.
very,
They had
very
Mark Kelso, who
fluid
was
in
going on
any
a tangent.
situation.
Mark Kelso would go on a tangent during the game, and John Murphy would go, all right, enough's enough, Mark.
That's what I'm saying. Like John Murphy does let his Bills emotions get the best of him in a good way sometimes. Baran is just as charming when they're down 4-1 as when they're up 4-1.
Yeah,
It's true.
they're not really bad. They just had bad bounces. Welcome to hockey, Marty.
Yeah, like or
Or
it'll
Marty,
just
they're
be
getting
like,
outshot 30-10. They're bad right now.
Right.
It'll be like a dump into the zone, but these guys are playing for each other.
Like, and I used to love the podcast because or the show because Craig Gervais would go, "Let me guess, Marty, you're gonna say that they played well." It's like it's so funny.
It's awesome.
It is tough. It is, especially obviously for the last decade when there have been some rough results. I mean, for them to spin it. Like there have been so many times where it was like a 2-0 end of first period, and Rob Ray is just like, yeah, Sabres pretty unlucky there. Could have easily been, tied up going into the break, but a couple bad bounces and they're down 2.
Three keys of the game. It'd be like Roswell Parks. 3 keys of the game: score more goals, don't get outshot, stay out of box. And
the
you would
other
just
day-
look at those and be like,
Sunday-
yeah, no, that's fundamentals of hockey, Rob.
Sunday, it was literally against the Islanders. It was continue. I'm like, Rob, bro, like, what are we doing here? It's like they handed it to him 5 seconds before the game.
I was gonna say the three Rob's 3 keys to the game is at the point. It's the kid who's filling out a Scantron on the way into the room for like school.
That's
Like
some
just
sound
not
advice.
even what it's gonna stick no matter what. Rob will make it
It's
stick.
true. As we say, that's 5-0 now, and I'm gonna go turn off the Sabres game.
But like going back to football, what I think is so cool too is like when we used to have Gus Johnson, he'd be like, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Harvard grad under center. I'm like, whoa, like sick. Like I love like when announcers put those last minute lingos in there, like they'll be like, Jalen Rieger just had a baby lining up outside. Like they just these like fun facts they drop in, and it's like
Who did Gus Johnson say has
Chris
running from the
Johnson.
cop speed?
Chris Johnson.
Oh my god, dude! Like,
Yeah.
so again, that was right before the era where that probably would have got him canceled, and instead now he's like still like the biggest network.
Well, yeah, no, that's in Madden 2020 as one of the voice lines, and it's said very
Yes,
often whenever you have
was-
a breakaway run. This guy has running from the cop speed. And
I
it's
just
like,
ran back in
brother,
the room. I just ran back in the room to make that exact point, Meerkat. I hear that in my like brain
Madden
from
2020
just
was
Madden.
not long ago.
Even when you heard it then, you were like, really? Like, that's on Madden?
Yeah, oh, it was
say that on
obtuse in
Madden?
the moment, for sure. Like, it was just right. It was just, to be honest, and society changes. It was before people got canceled for saying, like, one bad thing. Like, it really was.
And I think it's funny, too, because when they did the Apple Plus or the Apple TV broadcast for the Mets game, like, and John Sterling had this issue, too, is, like, the two that were doing the games, the Apple Plus TV game was like, a pop up to the pitcher. Well, that's a deep fly ball. And I'm like, nope, that's a pop out to the pitcher. That's going to fall in his glove. And, like, it happened. And then, like, John Sterling did it. Oh, it's a deep try for Giancarlo Stanton. And it just gets caught at the wall. And then Matt Vescursion from MLB The Show is doing the Angels game. And he goes, oh, Tony! But it's not enough. I'm just like sitting there just pissing myself.
Dude, the Ohtani one was ridiculous because it was just Vescursion losing his mind for no reason. Here's the thing, though. If you've ever watched a baseball game on the Yes Network, Yankees fan or no, you know that when the Yankees hit a fly ball, the Yes Network does like a weird thing where it first scopes in out to the bleachers and then it pulls it in. So, like, it's almost like they're assuming it's going to be a home run. So they want to get in the best position to be, like, filming a home run reaction. And it causes a weird vibe where when it's hit deep, like especially like the Stanton one was, it can really, like, mess with your head, which is like you can totally
Michael
see
K.
how it got Sterling and K,
Deep drive. It's like always like deep drive, left field. And, like, it always gets you.
By the way, Rizzo has like 5 home runs that are like would not have been out anywhere else. I'm not complaining because that's the game, but like I'm talking about 5 that would not have been out like anywhere else. I like
the
the
best
Yankees.
account on Twitter. The best account on Twitter is Would It Ding, and it tweets out. It's like the ding alert where it tells you the home run, but it tweets out how many of the 32 MLB ballparks that it would have been a home run with a chart and everything. And the best thing is, every time it's a Yankee home run, it says this would have been a home run out of 1 out of 32 ballparks.
I know.
Only Yankee Stadium.
I hate it.
The Yankees.
That's awesome.
It's sick when you see one that was.
I don't even like
30
hate
for
the
30
Yankees.
or
It's
32.
just that's just funny. That is just good quality content.
Right. I gotta go grab another
serious.
beverage. I'll be right back, folks.
Go sail up. What are you guys working on? I'm mixing in Blue Light with a little Pepsi, actually. I'm trying to get some, a little bit of a caffeine rush.
I'm about to, I think I was going to go get some caffeine in a second. I've got the Blue Lights. The liquor store around the corner from my Chicago apartment actually has 15 packs of Blue Light cans.
That's
all
baller.
they have.
That's like you know what? That's some Canada shit. That's some Canada shit.
That's the only other place I've seen it. And we were talking about that. I asked them today about bottles. They're like, the 15 cans are cheaper than the bottles, so we just get the cans. I'm like,
I remember now being like 19, driving across the border and getting 15 packs of Red Stripe.
Oh, I love me some Red Stripe.
Oh yeah,
love me some Red
commercials
Stripe.
are great.
Phillies pick is in. Jordan Davis, the big boy out of Georgia there.
Wow.
We got
big fella.
Kyle
I'm just so glad he didn't go to the Ravens. I did not want to see him on the Ravens.
So
I don't. Kyle Hamilton.
I don't even want to take my break right now because I actually think Brandon Beane is getting the phones ready to whether it's Kyle. The Ravens pick is going to be important. I think the Ravens go secondary. Hamilton makes sense, even though safety's not the biggest need. I think McDuffie also makes sense. 2 guys, you know, I would not mind on the Bills. Ravens pick is in. I'm going to wait for this pick because this is a pivotal pick. If they don't go, Hamilton.
And Houston, they only got a couple 4th and a 5th in that last trade. Like it would make sense for them to want to recoup a little bit more than that.
Houston has, Ryan Talbot brought it up earlier. Thank you to him for hopping on. They have no shortage of needs right now. They can add about just any position, and
literally
nobody would be upset.
Seriously.
But you know what doesn't make me upset? A nice neutral and bottle of Aperol from Outlet Liquor, New York's only outlet liquor. When you're looking to stock up, it's your place to buy a case. What's your outlet? Guys, I got to tell you about this. 2 oranges in a beer glass. You pop open.
I was going to say, I knew you were going to make a cocktail at some point. I hope I didn't miss it.
Which is a vodka seltzer in a can. You pour that bad boy in. All right. You let it fizzle. Check this out. You're at a tailgate. You don't have ice, right? Who cares? Because we don't really, ice isn't a big thing. It's always chilly in Buffalo. And then we take a little bit of Aperol and we just dump it right in.
Ooh.
And there you are. We call that the Kanzi Spritz. All right.
Ooh.
Kanzi Spritz. Both of these products.
I'd put that in my mouth.
Check it out, guys.
I would.
Wanted to throw that out there, guys. This is delightful.
Looks like it, man.
What was that seltzer you were using there, Cons?
It's called Neutral. For those that are always stuck in neutral.
Is it from Switzerland?
I don't know. It's got a umlaut. Or a
It seems very Scandinavian.
But shout out Rich and Linda
Nordic,
for always hooking me and producer Burrs and us up with a great selection.
Shout
and
out
guys,
Burrs.
I really mean it. If you can't find something, just give them a call and they have it. Like they have somebody that can get it for you. But I'm going to drink a lot of these this summer on the golf course. Maniac, my clubs just got delivered from North Carolina. I can't golf to save my life, but we're going to hit the links this summer.
That's all the more reason to get out there and hit one good shot out of 95.
There you go.
By the way, I have a non-neutral update, unfortunately, for Wake. Suns are up 101 to 100 with 2:30 to go. Anybody might be watching it.
And
Just like a promotion for fucking Outback.
2:30, you're way ahead.
What do you?
Yeah,
The
you're
NBA
way ahead.
playoffs are over, guys. The NBA playoffs ended last night at about 12:45 Eastern time.
I didn't even get to start.
I do
the playoffs
recall
when we
that,
had.
yeah.
I don't even think they actually have happened yet.
No,
That's what I'm
no.
It looks like it is going to be
Asterisk
Hamilton to the
playoffs.
Ravens.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse playoffs.
Whoever
Doesn't
wins,
count.
it's a bigger asterisk than the bubble, honestly. Just 'cause I think it's gonna
Real
have
quick though,
very
I'm not a
important
big basketball guy because I'm a Knicks fan and we don't know about what winning is. Who right now is beating the Boston Celtics? Like I hate Boston.
The
city
Golden
Boston
State Warriors.
sports, but like who is
Yeah.
beating the Celtics right now? They're the
A
best.
healthy
all-around
Golden
team.
I think
State
I think we're
Warriors.
getting Warriors.
Healthy
I think we're getting
Sixers,
Warriors
eh?
Celtics finals, and
Yeah,
then
or a
that's
healthy
it's
Sixers
going
team.
seven.
Himself.
Am I like seriously? I don't know basketball.
No, I think the Celtics are the got to be the favorite right now, and especially Milwaukee doesn't have Chris Middleton this whole
Okay.
series against Boston. That's fucking huge.
Yeah, that's gonna
and
be
Boston's gonna have home court in this series, and I don't think it's really gonna matter if Boston has home court against Miami. So I really think they're the favorite to make it to the finals out of the East for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they covered for 2 straight weeks. They covered for me. Spread,
That's ridiculous.
win,
That's
spread, win,
that's nuts.
over. Like they were just
Yeah,
lights
the
out.
Celts are one of the best defensive teams I've ever watched in my life. Like they're terrifying. There's no bad
Defense
defending.
wins championships, which is why I want the Bills to draft a quarterback. Sorry, just gonna put it out there.
I want them to
No,
draft
no,
Matt
we-
Araiza in the first round. To be honest,
Honestly, I
think we
wouldn't
need to
hate
just
it.
lock in the punter position
Wait,
for the
like,
next 20
about
years.
that, like, I wanted your opinion on that because, like earlier, we were talking about cornerbacks. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Who, me?
Yeah, like on cornerbacks. Like usually
Yeah.
in 2006, when we would take like a defensive back, we'd be like, "Oh man, we needed like a receiver." But like this year, I'm like, actually, like we do need a cornerback in the first round or the second round.
Yeah. Like I had, the entire last offseason, Meerkat will remember, I was very, very pro Dane Jackson. I was confident that he could step in to a starting role. I think he still can. I just don't know if I want to rely on him being CB1 week 1 of the NFL season is kind of my issue here.
It's
I
not
think
even
that
so much Dane as CB1. It's more. I love Serrani.
it's more who's behind him. It's who's behind him. That's the
Tehran's
problem. You're
locked
right.
into that nickel spot. It's who's going
Yep.
to be the second boundary corner. There is no option right now. Trey
Yeah.
White, best possible projection is he is back for week 1, and that's so rushed without an offseason coming off a major injury
Yeah,
after signing.
and I wouldn't
major-
want it.
Do you really think there's any way he plays week 1? I feel like there's no shot.
No,
way.
I don't expect Trey White to be back by minimum week 6. Minimum.
Luckily, we do have, not lucky about Kyle Hamilton, Meerkat leaves immediately, but we do have a former nurse waiting in the wings to come on here so we can ask her how she feels about Trey White coming back for week 1. The godmother of Bills Mafia, Robin Mundy, Buffalo fan base. Robin, I miss you so much. I miss you so much.
How you doing, Rob?
Likewise. I've
Roll
missed
on
you
the red
all.
carpet.
Where is Meerkat?
He just left. He saw you. And
Oh.
He saw me and he's wearing a Josh Allen Wyoming jersey.
He said, "This is enough Wyoming for now. We gotta keep it down." I guess.
Hold up,
I
though,
don't
Robin.
know.
I've always wanted to tell you this. I lived in Casper, Wyoming for like 6 months. It was a great 6 months of my life.
I hope
Micah,
it was
I didn't know you lived there.
Was it the
And when
right 6 months of the year?
No, not at all. I got 80 mile an hour winds almost every day. That was one of my places I played juniors in, was Casper, Wyoming. Yeah.
Dreadful.
It was terrible. It was horrible weather.
Did you ever make it up to Buffalo, Wyoming?
No, I didn't. I only went to Cheyenne. That's the only other place we went.
Oh,
and
God,
Laramie
that's
too. We
even
went to Laramie
worse.
for a little bit too. Yeah, Cheyenne trip was in like December too. It was a scary bus ride. I'm not gonna lie. I'll never forget. I went to go pick up my dad at the airport one time. So in Denver, obviously, and it was a 4-hour drive, and it was like 70 mile an hour winds, and I had my little Honda CRV like turned like this the entire way. Like, not even joking, the entire car ride. Like, if I took it off, it was going off the road. So yeah, just wanted to shout out Wyoming. Shout out Casper,
Oh yeah,
Wyoming.
Wind. You never know. So we're back on topic, talking about whose injury?
Football. Oh, Trey White.
Of course.
So
yeah, Trey
White.
Yeah.
ACL on Thanksgiving last year, of course. Coming back for week 1 in September. That's probably a stretch, right?
Yeah, I think it is a stretch, but Trey's always been an overachiever and a perfectionist, and I would expect, if anything, they're trying to hold him back from, trying to do too much, because that's the way he is. But I think it would be overly optimistic to think that he'd be back for the start of the season. I think he starts out on PUP. What do you guys think?
We're all
I can
kind of
see
in the
that.
same boat. Yeah. Now
and
the question.
I could even
Go
see
ahead,
a
Mia.
situation. You get him off PUP, and then maybe in like the 7 to 8 range, you have him where he's getting ready for the game, and they want to see how he looks out on the field, and then maybe they make the game time decision not to, just because that ramp up is so important. And yeah, obviously, and again, this will be where are they in the season? Are they 4-3, where maybe they think he can make an impact? Are they 7-1, where it's like there's no reason to rush with this guy? Let's take time. And again, not to say that they would be so short-sighted about it, but you'd have to think that might play into a game day decision based on the matchup. Let's say you're facing a strong receiver team like the Miami Dolphins. You might want to have Trey White out there for depth purposes versus, say, a third running back or something like that. So with all that factored in, I could totally see a situation. I do not see Trey White coming back for week 1, and I could totally see something down the line with a, warming him up, getting him ramped up for the season.
Now,
anybody think about Joe Hayden?
Ooh, he's been golfing a lot with Von Miller. He's been doing a lot of golfing.
I think no matter what, they're picking up some kind of veteran presence in the cornerback room after the draft. I think they just want to see how the board falls first and just see where they're at. No rush. Like, obviously, these guys, all the names that we've been hearing are still out there. So I think it's just
amazing.
The league is just kind of put everything on pause for this draft too. So they know they can do it. Kenyon Green, a guard. I don't think this is kind of a surprise guard pick here. Was not the highest offensive lineman, interior guy mocked out, but that's the pick for Houston. So, and the pick is already in for Washington at 16.
Yeah, so I do have our guy Mookie Hawkins texting me here. A couple things. First and foremost, Hollywood Brown has been traded to Arizona along with a 3rd round pick for the 23rd overall pick in this draft. Breaking news that our guy Mookie just texted me. He should be joining us shortly, so we'll get his reaction on that too. But Lamar Jackson loses a wide receiver and a 3rd round pick. Possibly, maybe the Ravens are eyeing a receiver at 23, but if that's the case, I don't know exactly why you make that trade now with 3 already off the board. And allegedly, Mookie is telling me that Jahan Dotson from Penn State is going right here at 16 to Washington. So if the Ravens did that anticipating a nice receiver waiting for them, they may have another thing coming, guys.
Wait, real quick, not to interrupt you there, but didn't Washington have Josh Doxson, and they're going to draft Jahan Dotson?
That is
my head is exploding right now. So for all those Washington fans, you can go ahead and change the C and the T and everything.
We'll see if maybe they'll give them a discount on the nameplate change. I don't know.
Well, I know, Wake, you had an opinion on the Trey White situation, but to go back to that, I think what's incredible about this Bills team is that we can sit here and we can talk about the defense all we want because we know our offense can put up 40, 50 points a game, right? So, like, if we win a game 50-45 or whatever, like, we're cool with that, right? And no matter what articles come out, no matter what we say, like, it's finally good, and I keep saying this, I can't stress this enough, the theme. It's nice to have a potent offense that I think got better, and with, I know we lost Cole Beasley, but we got better, and we found out that this offense, like, scratched the surface of what it could potentially be, and it should scare everybody. Like, everyone's like, well, that's the best it'll be. No, that's not.
No,
the best.
it's not.
Gabe Davis getting me, like, what, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns in a game like that tells me that what can he do in a regular season when someone's not taking snaps away from him? So, I do want a cornerback, no doubt, but I wouldn't be aggravated if they went offense, like guard, like if they went something crazy in the first round, right? Yeah, because we're gonna have more opponents no matter what.
Yeah, no, like the offense definitely, like, hot take, does have room to improve, contrary to popular belief. I mean, it is the same team that put 6 on the Jaguars. It's the same team that struggled to score for a whole half against the Texans, I'm pretty sure. At times they've struggled against the Jets. Like, when they play these lesser teams, sometimes they struggle to score. That Tampa Bay game, if they have a stronger first half, it doesn't go to overtime probably. Right. So it's minuscule details that will make them better. And now that they're Super Bowl contenders, I think it's okay for us to ask for a little bit more, even though it's almost an embarrassment of riches, right?
Right.
Yeah. I have to move my
we got a good
situation
football
over here a little bit. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hans,
Yeah,
it's so good to
see
you.
So good to see you too, Robin. As a matter of fact, Robin, I do have a question because you wrote an incredible piece on Josh Allen multiple times, but the one was about losing his grandmother and then leadership in general.
I remember this one. Yeah.
I always see NFL players, like, when you look at a quarterback, like, that's the leader. But don't you find it, like, incredible that the Bills have multiple leaders? Like, it is Josh's team, no doubt, but it's like everybody's team, right? Like, there's a leader in each portion of the team. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how does that happen? How do we all together? Like,
it's the chemistry thing that McDermott talks about in terms of he wants a core group of leadership, rather than an authoritarian model where you've got the quarterback and, everybody trots afterwards. And Josh also is a collaborative kind of guy. He's a natural leader, but he also brings out the best leadership skills in the people around him as well. He's very thoughtful that way, but there's so much more to this idea of getting the right personalities. I mean, I'm going to bounce back to the Sabres again for a second, but I mean, how can you not see that the Sabres have made tremendous strides since Jack left? And it's a thing, it really is a thing. And until McDermott came along, nobody gave the chemistry of the team, the personality of the players that much thought. I don't know if you guys remember, but when McDermott first came, one of the first things he did in the locker room was he switched all the players around in terms of where he put everybody. He put so much into thinking about the chemistry issue. Who needs to be next to this guy and hear him in his ear? Who needs to be away from Isaiah McKenzie? Because he's so much fun. But the point, you know what I'm saying? The point being, there's so much more thought that goes into this now than has ever happened in the past with Bills. I don't really follow other teams as closely, but I think the locker room culture issue it's so important, and it's such a big thing. And there are players that you will see not make their draft board that would like blow everybody else's minds, but they have it in their mind, the prototype of the kind of player that they want. And personality has a lot to do with it, and getting the right mix of personalities. And leadership is tricky, but it seems to me like there is a really good emphasis on bringing in people who want to work collaboratively.
By the way, speaking of getting the guy you want, Adam Schefter a minute ago, Titans are planning to trade wide receiver A.J. Brown to the Eagles.
Wow.
Sources tell ESPN.
What?
So Jalen Hurts gets a new
We can get
shiny
sick
toy.
on Tiki and Pete, but not McDonald's, so that's great. Awesome.
Wow.
And Jahan Dotson to the Washington Commanders, which makes me sad.
Which stinks.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
stinks. It's
I can't stand the Commanders. That's the last
Yeah, I
place I
know.
wanted to see him go.
I know.
Yeah. Well, real.
Would anybody freak out? You guys, I got a question. Would anybody freak out if we landed Trevor Penning?
Nope.
No, because
like
he's
him
a
too?
freak. He is a freak. I would
athletic.
love to have a guy like that on
Is
the
he the
line.
guy who had the montage of him just causing all the issues at the senior week practices?
Yup.
Believe that was
yes.
him. Yeah.
Probably.
If you get him to buy
would
into the
be-
process, anything could change. Ipso facto, Jerry Hughes with Rex Ryan, and then Jerry Hughes with McDermott. It's a completely different player.
Yeah, Jerry and Gary.
Jerry and
Completely different
Gary.
player.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick on that Titans note, AJ, with A.J. Brown gone, the number one receiver for the Tennessee Titans is now...
Julio.
No, he's not even on the team anymore.
Nikhil
Woods.
Westbrook and
Robert Woods.
But no, that shows faith in him if they're trading A.J. Brown, right?
He's so underrated.
Oh, they're about to be bad. They know. I feel so bad for Bobby Trees. They know how bad they're going to be. Oh my god.
Dude, I
feel bad for
Henry
Bobby.
and Tannehill?
Tannehill's going to QB.
You're adding
35
Tannehill into the argument?
interceptions.
Really?
I think Tannehill stat-wise is a top 12, 15 QB when he's healthy.
Believe me, I
Is
tried
it gonna
to make that
is it gonna be
argument,
Tannehill
and
anymore though?
like,
That's
literally
a
said
fair
to me,
question.
name the 15 ahead of him, and I named like 20, and I was like, okay, I think I realized that I'm wrong.
I'm a noted Tannehill
I think-
hater, so I'm never gonna. Yeah, I can't help you on this one.
I was a
mean,
noted
here's the
Tannehill
thing.
lover, and then I got converted.
Here's the thing, though. Like,
Last year he stunk.
a lot of us go like, "Ooh, Ryan Tannehill," but like, we could be worse. You could be a Falcons fan and be like, "Yay, Marcus Mariota!" Like, I feel like
I don't know.
you
I think I'd rather have Mariota, and that's the
I
bad
mean,
part.
yeah, but like, this is such a weird time to be a football fan because there's so much happening.
Tannehill's first 2 years
I
as
know.
a Titan, he was a game manager plus. He averaged over 200 yards per game, and in his first 2 seasons, he had 55 passing touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That's pretty good.
Can't discount what he did. I think
long
definitely.
But last year he had 21 touchdowns and 14 picks, which sucks. That's not good.
So there it is.
I mean,
That'll do it. That's the ticket.
So, but we'll see. I mean, yeah.
So is this a
getting
receiver?
a franchise quarterback's hard.
So is this about to be a receiver or a quarterback? Do you think then? Because it is quarterback range. They've got everybody's an option pretty much, except Malik Willis. Obviously, he's off the board. But I mean, they couldn't. The receiver run is hit earlier than I think we anticipated. Like Dotson was, I
It
had
has.
Dotson in the 16 range at any mock or
Definitely.
anything. So we still got Traylon Burks, right? And George Pickens, I think, are the next guys really up. So Sky Moore territory as well. We'll
And
see.
speaking of next guys up, we got a new guy to add to our panel here. We will not add. Okay, we'll ask. We add on the flyer. We'll talk about his food takes. It's fine. It's whatever.
No,
Ryan
no.
Sullivan,
Who we
Sports
got?
Talk.
What up, guys?
Hey.
Oh, Ryan.
How's it going?
How do you feel about so a lot of wide receiver action tonight? Crazy shit, to say the very least. How do you
So
feel?
I
AJ
have-
Brown on the move, Hollywood on the
That's
move.
what-
Like,
Who's he on the move? I try to avoid Twitter tonight actually because I don't like getting picks tipped.
Agreed.
yeah,
Who's
I agree.
who's he traded to? Why are they doing that? I've been trying to
AJ
catch
Brown?
I also had to walk my dog, so I missed a little bit there. Like I missed
Calling
like
it
20
now.
minutes of it, and why? That sounds so weird. Like I'll tell you what though, makes every time Bean makes an extension, it looks really good in the next month, 6 months. Like, oh my God, like, I was a little down on the fact that they waited as long as they did for Diggs, but if they had waited any longer, could something else have happened? Like, holy moly. Like, thank God we got that locked in when we did.
For sure.
You know when in Seinfeld when Elaine gets the boyfriend Tony and George really likes him, and so he's doing the shirt, so he's got the shirt. Or no, Tony puts his hat backwards. So George puts his hat backwards. That's kind of the NFL right now. When the Bills do something, they've had a path of success for the last 4 or 5 years. Everyone's gonna start doing it. So I mean, if Brandon Beans drafts a punter, we can see a run of. I'm not getting carried away with that. I'm not getting carried. But I think you see a difference. I think there's a method to that madness right there.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be really funny watching.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it's gonna be funny watching the Giants the next couple years to see, because they're in such a similar spot as Buffalo was in 2017, and the fact that they don't necessarily have an awful roster, but they're not really in a great cap spot. Like and the way that division is, they could mistake their way into a playoffs again, and then they have some draft
especially
capital.
in the NFC right now.
Yeah, and they have some draft capital to go in and make a move for whatever quarterback they like next year. Like, they could very much recreate what the Bills did in the first couple years of the Bean era.
So
and franchise QB.
It's going to be Bills Giants Super Bowl this year. Is that what you're saying?
Gotta give it 2 years, like 2020. Like, what are we in 2020? 2024.
The Pelicans.
By the way, franchise quarterback obviously making all that much easier, but declining that 5th-year option on Daniel Jones. We were just talking about QB deals and how much they're being paid. So that would have paid him $22 million. Ooh. That's definitely a borderline decision with him, because you still feel like he could take that step. You might see what you like under him under Dable, but I mean, it's hard to imagine that he'll greatly outplay that number this year, right? Like, is Daniel Jones going to come out of the other side tomorrow?
No, he doesn't. Here's my real quick. Here's my take.
Thank you.
And I won't.
Thank you.
Anyone. My thing is, Brian Dable going into a situation where we're going to see
poor Wakes Pelicans.
We're gonna see how good, and I'm not trashing him when I say this. We're gonna see how good Brian Dable really is at developing or fixing quarterback issues, right? Because
Herb Jones has developed really well for the Pelicans, but okay, I'm done.
Daniel Jones obviously doesn't have the skill set. Josh Allen, he's not as talented, but it'll be interesting to see how Dable kind of reconstructs the way he plays. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the season, he's and I hate to bring him up again, maybe he's at a Tannehill status from a year or two ago. Maybe like literally the Titans paid Ryan Tannehill after everyone said don't do it, and they're like, screw you, we did it. So
I mean, he was objectively okay for the first 4 or 5 games of the season. He was a top 15 quarterback for the first 4 or 5 games.
We were just talking about this. This is the ultimate balance of Tannehill. Is he a top 15 quarterback? But I think he's a game manager plus. He's not going to win you games you shouldn't, but he's probably not going to lose you a game where your defense plays well enough. Is my take on him. And obviously, it was hilarious when Adam Gase kind of almost put his career in the garbage, and then he came out much better, thus showing how terrible Adam Gase is, which is always fun to bask in. But we've hit a little bit of a lull in this draft. I mean, I feel like we just got to point out we had a little early
pick is in
here. We got the pick is in. Let's get spice it up here.
Traylon Burks, another receiver.
Yeah, Traylon. Yes, 6 receivers
God.
in the first 18
What the
picks.
hell?
Zion Johnson, the guard, went at 17. That's everybody that the Bills Twitter wanted.
Guys,
I don't love this board.
It's Breece Hall or a corner. That's where we're ending up at this point.
Yeah.
McDuffie's not off the board yet.
Give me that defense.
Or a trade back. But I could see Breece Hall is going to be the only skill player available. So if they really wanted to add to the offense, it's right there for him.
He popped out as soon as Robin got here.
Hi, Robin. Sorry, but I was texting a couple buddies, and I'm like, when the Titans traded that pick, I'm like, don't tell me they take Traylon Burks, because Traylon Burks' ceiling is the next AJ Brown. Like, that is his NFL comparable. He's the exact same player as AJ Brown. And they trade AJ Brown, who's the guaranteed AJ Brown, for a guy whose ceiling is AJ Brown. I love the NFL. This is incredible. You can't script it.
I love the Titans too.
I like Traylon Burks. It's not a dig at him. AJ Brown.
Oh no, it's just terrible asset management.
What are you doing? Saving a little money?
They just don't. Here's the thing. Here's what we're gonna see.
It's only game. Why you have to be mad?
I love
with the wide receiver contracts. The boom. They just decided we're not spending that money on a wide receiver. They're already paying Derrick Henry how much money. They just don't have it. So that's what it comes down to. But it's still like AJ Brown is one of the. I mean, bro, he's one of the best receivers in the league, and you're trying to win the Super Bowl. I thought.
It's the scene from Family Guy. You could choose the money or the mystery box.
The mystery box.
It could be, it could be a box. Who knows?
The mystery box could be anything.
It could even be a boat.
It could even be a boat.
My buddy just sent me the meme of like two identical cars next to each other. The one guy's like, I really like this one, but this one is brilliant.
Real quick, guys, are we really sitting here and talking about asset management as a Bills fan? Like, think about this for a second.
Facts.
Like, I love that we're making fun of other teams for asset management. This is incredible. Like, this is what
it's a glow up. That's what they say.
To make fun of other teams for asset management, because you can't spell asset without ass, and that's what they are.
We are the girl or the boy or whatever that the other person tells you not to worry about. That's what the Bills are now, and it feels so goddamn good.
Give me a slice of Picasso, sorry, Pat Moran, and give me an ice cold beer.
Ooh, man, this is not an ad because they don't sponsor the Cap anymore. But when they did, and they shipped me whole frozen pizzas all the way from Buffalo. Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Like it was so good that it makes me give them a free ad here in the middle of an NFL draft live stream. That cup and char pepperoni. The Parmesan cheese on top.
Oh my God! Sorry, Wake. Did you just see this tweet by Adam Schefter? Eagles are giving AJ Brown a 4-year, $100 million extension and
there it is.
$57 million guaranteed.
What? Man's wanted the bag. Man's wanted the bag, and the Titans are not going to
join hands.
Yeah, secure the bag, homie. Oh my!
Is this to get rid of the Titans?
We thank you for this holy bread. We thank you for your smart use of assets, contracts, money, our fandoms. Thank you, Brendan Bean.
Bean we trust.
In Bean we freaking trust. Big trust. Oh my god. Oh, Maniac's heating up a pizza right now. I wonder if it's a Picasso's pizza.
Do they deliver to Wyoming?
They deliver nationwide.
That might be a little bit out of there.
They deliver nationwide.
Robin, Wyoming Street in Buffalo, maybe.
That's true.
And Wyoming's in the nation.
We are in the nation.
You can't get that kind of insight anywhere else. I'm a big geometry guy.
I was taking my break. I missed Ryan and Robin coming in, two of my absolute favorite people who I met on Twitter.
Right?
Have you guys given your Bills thoughts yet? Like I want, even if you have, I just want to hear what you want. Yeah. Ryan, if you want to go first, position, player, what do you want?
At this
We're
point,
all puzzled.
I feel like I've made anyone who follows me on Twitter knows where I stand on running backs. And it's not even a bright Breece Hall thing. It's a thing that in the macro, I think running back is a relatively interchangeable position. And I know that's, some people don't agree with me, but I think you look at teams who have really good run games. You look at the Browns, and they took the Ernest Johnson, and he averaged 5 yards a carry every time he started a game. If you have a good offensive line, you're going to have a good running back. And I think the value of going from Breece Hall to whoever the next tier running back doesn't really bring all that much. So I don't really need Breece Hall. I rather, if we're sitting there and Breece Hall is the best available, get me into the second round. It's just I don't value running backs in the macro in that same way. So that's why, if the way the board's falling now, get me an extra day 2 pick and let's go let's go play around with draft position tomorrow, because I really don't like the way the board's sitting right now.
Here's why
Minnesota, they're a team. Go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say the reason that the Breece Hall thing I feel like makes sense when you're thinking about Bean is they're not gonna pay Singletary. Like with the guys that are gonna come up this summer, with you got Knox, you got Edmonds, you got Oliver. Like where's the money for Singletary? And if Singletary had a good year this year, say their offense is booming and he puts up, I don't know, whatever stat line would be, do you think like they're gonna give him 9-10 million like a year? Because I feel like he might be able to get. I don't know if he's actually going to get something like that, but you could see a team convincing themselves with the stats he has and the stats he could get and everything else to do it. And that's where I see it. But I agree with you. I don't know if that value with a first round, a fifth-year option with a running back and everything else, like if that even really makes sense.
Well, I'm not against
other guys deeper.
I'm not against drafting one. It's the Drake meme. It's the Drake meme. If we get him at 33, I'm fine. If we can get him at 33 plus, awesome. I'll hold hands and sing Kumbaya with everyone on Twitter who is screaming Breece Hall at 25. It's just I know it's a weird arbitrary line to draw in the sand 32 versus 33, but that's where I'm going to draw my line.
Yeah, no, you're entitled to do that. I mean, no,
and
I agree. I'm with you.
But I just don't think if we get Kenneth Walker or Isaiah Spiller or any of these other guys, I don't think it's going to be that. I
love James Cook.
James Cook.
I love James Cook.
I'm high on Isaiah Spiller in the second round.
I'm high on Spiller as well.
Which
here's the thing,
I may be there for us in the second round.
I think
the Draft Network sure just loves to think so.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt everyone. Before we jump on to the next topic, because this is hot in my mind and I will forget because my mind is mush these days.
I would too.
Same.
If Kyle Hamilton is available right now, okay, and I'm not saying this because I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan. Okay?
Did he just get drafted?
Did he just get drafted?
He's a Raven.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He got drafted at
He's a Raven.
See, here's the thing.
I thought you were about to pledge your love for him, so I just wanted to help.
All right, well, then forget what I was going to say. So, I don't have.
Yes, I would have traded up.
So, what if you're Brandon Beane? Okay, so right now, let's put a hypothetical scenario together. If you could call to trade up in the round right now as Brandon Beane, I know we're talking about all these players. What are you mortgaging? Like, what picks? And who are you taking? Position, BPA, what are you doing?
Here's my hot take. I got to get it out there.
His phone because he has the trade chart saved. I know he does, and he's quick on it right now. So go, Maniac, give you a take, and Ryan's going to give us the numbers.
What pick are we at right now?
26.
Everyone's talking trade up.
No, what pick are we looking
20?
at right now? We're
20
right
Steelers
now.
are on the clock at 20.
So 20 would probably take about 89 and maybe something else, or a third round pick and maybe another pick somewhere down the line.
Okay.
That's not
no one available right now that I would want to do that for, but it's not a lot.
Maniac.
If I'm Brandon
Trent
Beane,
McDuffie still being available. Trent
Maniac
McDuffie. I personally like Booth the most of the Bills because I kind of just have the feeling McDuffie wouldn't have been available yet. The fact he's still there, I think you might want to move up for him. Which between McDuffie, Booth, and even Hill, I'm fine. I'm ecstatic with all three of those. To me, you kind of get a bit of a different thing with each one. McDuffie is going to be the most pro-ready guy, ready to step up opposite Dane Jackson week one if Trey White's not ready to go, which is kind of expected. That's how I'm going forward with it. Like, we're not going to rush him back. He's our golden boy. There's no reason to from that injury. So McDuffie, the most pro-ready guy. Then you have Booth, who is the biggest playmaker, maybe the most exciting, highest ceiling guy of the group, but he lacks the experience. He might be a little raw coming out there. The first few weeks, he's a guy you might have wanted to sit the first few weeks, not have to start in place of Trey White. And then Hill. I'm a Michigan man. I know I'm super high on him, but he is so talented. He has such a big frame. He is so athletic, and he is so versatile. Ryan Talbot said it earlier. He's not a guy who wants to play boundary corner, but could and probably excel at it in the NFL. He can play man-to-man in the slot as a corner, and he's a natural safety as well. So versatile. So you get a mixed bag there, but I love how the board is playing out because we're going to have a shot at one of those three right now.
And
I
Elam
really didn't like how the board was.
And Elam as well.
And Elam. I know a lot of people like Elam. I'm not nearly as high, but
I don't like Elam.
I do think a corner with that group all still available with New England at 21 and losing J.C. Jackson, that feels like they're taking one of those. They have to be taking one of those guys. Like, they have to be super happy with the way the board fell. And I know the Steelers pick is in, and we're waiting for the ESPN commercial to get done to see it probably. But that's got to be Malik Willis, right? Like, actually. Like,
I actually know who it is.
I hope so.
It's Pickett. It's been reported.
It has been.
Pickett? The Willis was a smokescreen?
Malik. That's disgusting.
Wow. On that note, I gotta. Yeah, that's.
Was the fake slide like ever a thing until Pickett used it?
I think it was a one-time thing. It was he did it, and then they outlawed it because they're like, we can't have people doing this.
The only sports equivalent that I can think of for Pickett and the fake slide, if you remember it, was when Sean Avery just stood in front of Martin Brodeur and just distracted him when they were on the power play. So they basically sacrificed the guy, and they were like, "Whoa, you can't do that," because like they realized like someone was gonna get hurt when they get hit by like a slap shot or something. But yeah, I've never seen a rule change like the next day like they did with that. So it was so crazy.
Well, do you remember years and years ago, I think they ended up changing the rule for it too. There was, I think it was an AFC championship game or a wild card game. It was the Patriots and Ravens, I think. And they lined up Julian Edelman on the line, but he wasn't an eligible receiver or something weird like that.
You mean like they cheated, but it still flew with the NFL? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I think they ended up changing the rule right after that. Like, we can't have, like, they did it once. Like, they were lining up people on the line that weren't eligible, which was technically legal. And then the NFL came in that next offseason and said, yeah, you can't do that.
Agreed, because it distracted defenders because the defender had no idea that they weren't an eligible player, like way out wide, right?
Yeah, I think it was like I think they were like lining up Edelman out there or something. I remember it was like, oh god, it might have been like the Lee Evans Ravens or something like that.
The Lee Evans Ravens.
That was tough. It was crazy that he had that drop.
That sucked. I hated that for him. I know I don't like the Ravens at all, but that sucked. I like Lee Evans.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that.
It's like when Eric Moulds was traded, I cried.
Eric Moulds.
Oh yeah.
Underrated king.
Eric Moulds was an underrated king.
Real quick story about Eric Moulds. I think I told you guys this maybe, but when I was 9 years old, I'll never forget, Eric Moulds made this sick catch where like it was like a no-look, one-handed, like touchdown reception against the Dolphins. And my dad took me to Dick's Sporting Goods, and I was in Rochester. I was 9 years old. And he goes, "We're going to go to the Eric Moulds show." And it was my turn to ask a question. And I said, "Eric, what was going through your mind when you made that acrobatic catch?" It was a great question. For a 9-year-old to ask that question, I felt it was fair. Don't they cut me out of the show, right? They cut me out of the show. My aunt was so mad, she called Eric Moulds' publicist. I got 16 signed pieces of memorabilia that say, "To Joe, sorry for not making the show, Eric Moulds. Best wishes, Eric Moulds." On a rookie card, on a bunch of stuff, right? So, like, to this day, I still have it stashed away. But, like,
that's amazing.
I will forever be an Eric Moulds fan to the day I die.
Yeah.
Traded. I cried so hard, and I'll never forget I went to school in all black for 2 weeks. And my teacher's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "The Bills traded Eric Moulds." But then it got worse. Because the Sabres, whenever they got eliminated from the playoffs, I wore black to school, and they wrote in all my report cards, "Has trouble focusing when Buffalo sports teams lose." Like, I had to go to therapy for it, man. Like, I'm not making fun of people that have issues. I had to go to therapy for Buffalo sports. So forgive me for repeating myself multiple times tonight when I say that I am dying laughing right now. The fact that we are criticizing other teams for asset management when my 9-year-old chubby little self was walking down the hallways of Leary Elementary School in Henrietta, New York, wearing all black. So that's all I got for it.
When you lose your first favorite player to a trade, that's such a loss of innocence. Because Lee Evans, I remember Lee Evans. I had to have been in maybe 7th or 8th grade when he got traded. And I remember the talks, and I was like, man, they're never gonna do. But if they do, we'll get like a 1st-round pick for him. That's how good he is. And they traded him for a 4th-round pick. And I was like in 7th grade, so I didn't have the football knowledge. I was just like, Lee Evans really good. He's probably worth a lot of pick. They got a 4th-round pick for him, and I was like, distraught. I was like, what do you mean we only got a 4th-round pick for the coolest receiver in football?
I lost Matt Barnaby, my favorite player. I lost Eric Moulds. And then like every player I liked after that was just terrible. So it was like I bought a Paul Postlesny jersey. He wasn't good. I got an Aaron Maben jersey. Big mistake on my part.
Aaron Maben?
Yeah. And then I'll never forget my favorite jersey I ever had.
buddy.
I ever had was my JP Lossman jersey. And I'll never walking down the hallways at school. Hey man, what's up, JP Looseman? Like, ugh. But here we are, making fun of people for asset management. Round of applause to us for sticking it out, everybody.
Here's a jersey for you that I have hanging around somewhere. Either my first jersey or my second jersey ever. I don't remember which one. One of them was a Trent Edwards, but the other one is a James Hardy jersey. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I have it was like my first or second jersey. I got it at training camp after he was drafted. And when Terrell Owens came in, I duct taped it and I put Owens on the back. And it's somewhere in a box somewhere in my parents' house.
I think my best Bills jersey is probably Percy Harvin.
Well, we got Wayne.
All I have to say is never give in to peer pressure. Yeah, I'm raising my hand, but never give in to peer pressure and get a jersey just because someone has your last name, because that's how you end up with a Sammy Watkins jersey instead of a LaShawn McCoy jersey. That's all I'm going to say. The Kansas City Chiefs have traded up to pick 21 with New England right now.
And
that's why I was raising my hand.
It's going to be a pass catcher. It's got to be a pass catcher,
It's got to be a receiver, but I mean, you would think so. Like pass catcher or defense. Like, is there anyone on defense that they would want? Maybe Jermaine Johnson. Like, maybe.
Can you see them going with like a guy like Christian Watson? Like Belichick hasn't been afraid to go with like small school guys, like not D1 guys before. Christian Watson's super exciting.
It's see like
Belichick's trading up for Slade Bolden.
Oh wait,
no, Kansas City traded up.
Kansas City just traded, yeah.
Yeah, New England had the pick, and Kansas City traded up.
Oh no, I don't like this.
It's gonna be
Are they gonna take
right? It's gonna be some pass.
They got to take Trent McDuffie. It's got to be.
How is Jermaine Johnson still on the board though?
That's what I was saying. Like I think it's Jermaine Johnson or Trent McDuffie.
Jermaine Johnson's the best value on the board right now. I hope it's not McDuffie because please follow the Bills, even though Baltimore's sitting at 23. No, they went Hamilton, but they could use help at corner as well.
Or maybe they want Breece Hall because they think we could take him. Like I could.
It's a weird spot for a receiver right now because these guys left: Christian Watson, John Mechie, Sky Moore. They're not technically first-round grades, but they're all super risers who are exciting.
Who's on the board still? Wide receiver. Who's on the board?
If John Mechie's there, do you take him?
Right now, it's at receiver. We still have Mechie. We have Christian Watson. We have Sky Moore, George Pickens, Calvert Austin.
No one I would take in the first round.
It's really Watson, Moore, Mechie, maybe Pickens that could potentially be like in play in the first round. I don't know though. This is tough. The value's not quite there.
This is great for me wanting the Bills to take a. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say with OJ Howard and you got Gabe Davis, you got Stephon. Like, I'm cool with drafting for depth, but like at this point with wide receiver, with all the guys that have gone that I would have wanted, I don't need another receiver because I can go get somebody that
Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like McDuffie. Like,
Wait,
like my point is,
the Chiefs just take McDuffie?
Did they?
Now,
the Chiefs just took McDuffie.
That's not good.
Here's a question. Here's a question.
That's sizing up, man.
That's not good.
That's a
worst case scenario.
God damn it!
Do you think someone's
matter? The Chiefs aren't getting past the Bills this year. I don't know why everyone's all mad. Look at me being Mr. Positivity over here.
I love.
What were you saying, Ryan?
Do you think someone's going to be calling up now that we're heading to the bottom of this round here? Do you guys think, maybe the Falcons, maybe the Lions, maybe some of these teams that need a quarterback might start calling up to try to get Willis?
Right.
It makes sense.
That's exactly what
Green Bay makes sense. It's hard to see Green Bay not taking a pass catcher here. Like they need wide receivers desperately. They don't need a wide receiver desperately. They need wide receivers desperately. And
hasn't Green Bay
Dotson
been
off the board here? Packers fans were probably expecting both of them to be here available.
Hasn't Green Bay been linked to the tight end from Virginia Tech as well? Like they've really loved him, and who knows if that's a smokescreen and anything else too. But
Yeah, that'd be tough. It's like Trey McBride is the only
Yes,
tight end
there
I
it
could
is.
possibly see them in Colorado State. Yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah.
here, that's a bit of a
Rodgers
reach.
does
I
love
mean,
his big tight ends, though. He does, and maybe that's the weapon. You know, how much of it is what he wants in a guy? You know, who knows? I do think this
or they
has
could
gotta
be
a
happy
pass
just
catcher of
taking
some
Jermaine
sort.
Johnson. Jermaine Johnson.
Yo,
is a
Jermaine
top 10
Johnson
talent
he's
still
the
sitting
slider
on the board.
Yeah, no, I can't
He's
believe
the
he's
slider
still
right now.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
If he makes it past the Packers, he's going to the Ravens. No doubt about it in my mind.
George Karlaftis is still there too.
If I'm Brandon
still
Bean,
shocked.
I'm calling
Weird.
the most desperate man in the NFL right now, Matt Rule. And seeing what he'll give me for 25. He might just be
PJ
crazy
Walker,
enough
the future.
he might be crazy enough to give me next year's first rounder.
He might, yeah.
Possible.
He needs to win right away.
I do. Ryan is a great point though, because this is a prime spot now if they really do want to trade back and somebody
gosh,
wants
I'm
a new
thinking
quarterback.
maybe get a
This is
first next
amazing.
year.
This is amazing. I'm thinking
Oh my
Seattle.
God.
Seattle has 40 and 41. They have both those picks, and they are in the quarterback market. So I mean,
Right.
hey,
Yeah, they are.
that
So
that would be if you go into day two with you got 40, maybe 40 and 41. I don't know if that would be the move. It could be both seconds, 40, 41, and 57, and we still have these three positions: running back, corner, wide receiver. We want to see addressed, and they could just get them all with second round talents. Best case scenario, Bills fans would all be happy. No first round pick at all. We just take them all in the second.
And two players at better cost control.
I guess my thing is like, this is the part of the draft where like it's like a chess match for me, where when you get me to think too much, I just fold under pressure. I have like no. By the way, Maniac, you just paused mid bite of that pizza, and it was really funny. Sorry if anyone saw that. Anyways, it's like part in the chess match where you get me to overthink and I fold. So this is the part of the draft where like I don't know and I don't have answers, and I just am like, yay team, like, you know, I it's like stressful, but you don't know what they're gonna do. So I'd be okay if they took like a guard or tackle here. You know, I mean, I'd be completely fine with that too.
tackle would be weird if it's a versatile tackle that could like switch.
Yeah, like a
that'd be
swing
one
tackle,
thing.
like a swing
Yeah.
tackle or something. You know, like I probably sound stupid saying this, but someone that's gonna help you up front. You know, and kind of help you mix and match against. You know,
Well, I do
tougher-
think there's something to them wanting to still add to this line. I mean, Saffold's not he's not a permanent solution by any means. It's not like their tackle depth is great at the moment as it is.
I think their
you know,
tackle
like-
depth's pretty solid, to be honest with you. I'm
Whoa.
really okay with it. At this
I mean,
exact moment.
Saffold's a 1-year deal, but I mean,
Yeah.
it just depends what you think of Tommy Doyle. You know, he got some playing time.
True.
You know, not playing time, but he was the sixth lineman by the end of the year. So it's really
Yeah.
what do they think of
Wow.
Tommy Doyle? Now, Tommy Doyle shouldn't stop you from chasing your dreams, but you know, I think maybe Buffalo might be higher on
Tommy
him
Doyle is
than
my dream.
other people.
Bills have
than
traded
maybe
up and
we
are
are.
on the clock. I'm sorry.
With who?
With Baltimore?
And are on the clock. Yeah.
So they wanted to get ahead of Dallas.
They
What
trade
do
up
what do
for?
they need to get ahead of Dallas for?
Wait, who traded up?
The Bills did. The Bills are on the
Buffalo
clock right
Bills.
now.
What?
The Buffalo
God.
Bills are on the
We're
clock.
going to bed
Here we
early
are.
tonight.
Here's
The
our moment.
Buffalo Bills.
So who do they need to
Buffalo
jump
Bills.
ahead of the Dallas
They
Cowboys for?
traded with Arizona.
Yes.
If it's Tyler Lindenbaum, I'll
Traded
lose
with
my
Baltimore at
mind.
23. What did you say?
What-
So
what
what-
was-
If it's Jermaine
Dallas-
Johnson, like that's a
Okay.
steal, but it'd be stupid.
Dallas was
It
in
would be.
the
That
edge
means we're
market.
trading
Please be
AJ
Andrew Booth.
Epinesa.
Wait, guys, I just got the pick. It's Alex Lemire.
I'm ready,
Hey,
baby.
remember,
I'm a free agent.
There's your swing
in.
tackle,
Twitter's
baby.
for it.
Lock him in. Let's
You want to
go.
talk about versatility? This guy's no hot dog on the field.
I could see them, Meerkat. You might be happy with this. I could see them trading up to for Daxton Hill because the Cowboys secondary is straight poo poo.
What could they have
Could
like?
see
That's
that
just
be it.
man.
It has to be a pass.
Interesting.
It has to be a pass catcher because
I think
The-
it's
the
a
That's the only,
Cowboys-
That's what I was thinking with the Cowboys. Yeah.
Cowboys are going to be in the market for a pass catcher.
So which pass catcher would it be then? Is it Moore? Is it Pickens? Is it
Okay,
Watson?
we did
Which
have
one
At
would
least
you
we
guy-
know
pick?
it's not
say
Brees
he was
Hall.
going to come into this show.
Are you
The other
sure?
guy said he was going to come into this show when the Bills pick.
They
Paul
wouldn't
Beck.
jump Dallas for Brees Hall.
Bullseye.
Literally a bullseye.
Thanks for joining us 2 years in a row, right on the clock here. Where do you see the Bills going with this pick?
Everybody's holding their breath.
Everybody is holding their breath.
Paul, are
Just
you
like,
with
whoa,
us?
I kind of thought we would go back. But who is it?
Uh-oh.
I think you're on mute, Paul.
Yeah, Mookie texted me who it is.
Who is it?
Mookie leaked it?
Mookie leaked it. We got Mookie leaks going on in the chat right now. But it
Oh, this
appears
tension's
the Bills
killing
have
me.
traded up to Paul's unfortunately not hearing anything. The Bills have allegedly traded up to take Elam at 20.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. That's fine. You know
It's
what?
okay. It's a corner.
He's a
Whoa.
corner. He's long, he's rangy, and he is a guy that doesn't know football yet. That is basically what they said. They can teach him, they can coach him up. He's a very raw guy, and that they said that that's where a lot of his at least from what I read, is that's where a lot of his mistakes were, is from, you know, just not being as familiar with stuff like with coverages and such like that. Just making dumb decisions, whatever. We know that they can coach that out of guys.
I'm
the
muted.
athleticism's there with him.
He's athletic. He's like a panicky player. He's like he's a little like irresponsible. He's like kind of sloppy. Like it's stuff you can fix.
Don't
but
you
it's
think
not
that Sean
what we
McDermott,
need
who has
right
done what
now.
he's done with these guys, like, do you like? I feel like he thinks that this guy is like a ball of clay that he can mold, like with his athleticism.
Yeah.
What you're saying is we have a rangy or longer, rangier Taron Johnson? Maybe?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Like
I think the athleticism.
Listen, like Taron Johnson was very raw, but he played so balls to the wall that it helped his game. Like McDermott found a spot. So you're saying that this guy will have a spot on the field as long as they can, you know, kind of transform him into the player they see fit their system, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Like he can adapt to any system, is what you're saying?
The
only Elam I know is Jason Elam. He kicked a 53-yarder when I was like 8. So shed some light.
What
on
about the Elam ending? Come on.
Okay,
Facts.
sorry.
Also that. I think that I just trust McDermott with their development of secondary guys, and they just see the physical tools on this guy and couldn't pass him up. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
No,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, Ryan,
I'm
you
just
were
happy. I'm
super
happy as
hyped up,
hell.
so-
I'm just happy. We're not going running back, which is great. And last year I was saying that we can't rely on, you know, whatever we had there at cornerback, and Levi Wallace was great. But you look at what Sean McDermott has done with bubblegum and paper clips over there at cornerback 2, with James Jackson, with Levi Wallace, and now we have a guy with traits, with all the traits you want in the world, who, you know, I'm not a tape guy, but from everything I've read, you go and you look at his tape against Jamison Williams, it is remarkable. And
really,
they finally have a guy who, you know, can maybe run with some of the, you know, you look at the way the Bills defense has got burned the last few years against speed, and maybe a guy that can now run with them, that will have all pro corners behind him to kind of help him, all pro safeties to kind of help him out. I mean, you talk about going to a place where you'll have people around you to learn from. Buffalo's the place, man. You know, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's the players, Buffalo's the place where you want to go if you're a cornerback who needs to really learn their craft, like Meerkat said.
By the way, did we talk about the compensation for this pick real quick?
I believe it was just a 4th rounder to move up 2 spots, right?
But yes. Okay, because someone, I think Yates mistyped the tweet. But hey, speaking of making moves, I think we got Paul Peck in here. Paul, are you with us?
What's up, boys? How are you?
Paul, what do you think of the move? What do you think of the vibe overall this draft night? Give us that Paul Peck expertise.
Well, I know the pick's coming up here now, so I don't want to go too far so we can talk about who the pick is. I think when the Chiefs traded up with the Patriots, it was to get the corner that they probably knew the Bills wanted or were going to take. So I think once that happened, you knew the Bills had to do something. I don't hate giving up a 4th rounder to go up a couple picks to get who you want, and it's the corner that you guys are talking about, Elam.
Yes. Wow.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. It was the most needed position. on the team.
Yeah. And Paul, as Ryan was just making a great point, that with the secondary that they have, you got 2 all-pro safeties. You have, when Tre'Davious comes back, another all-pro corner across from him. And they talked about, Meerkat, you talked about him being a guy that takes chances and stuff like that. Kind of in this defense, then he's going to be able to take those chances, use his athleticism because he knows he's got guys to cover for him, and they'll be able to coach him up, I think. They're looking for a guy that's just, he's got great physical traits, and I feel like they just couldn't pass up on a guy like that.
You know what? Look at the depth chart. Obviously, they feel like they know, and they feel like Tre'Davious is going to be back and as good as he was. You've got a Dane Jackson that they like. Maybe we don't all love him because we haven't seen enough of him, but they clearly like him. So now you've got 3 guys for 2 spots, and now you've got Elam to cover you if Dane Jackson isn't as good as you think he is, or if Tre'Davious White doesn't come back either as quickly or as top flight as he has been right away. So again, on a team that didn't have a whole lot of holes, corner was the obvious move here. It all depended on who the Bills liked and whether there was a drop-off beyond the top 3 guys. I'd be curious to know, would they have taken McDuffie had he still been there? Would they have made this trade up had the Chiefs not done what they did to get McDuffie? But again, taking a corner, I think, was something we all could have figured on a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah,
it's
hard to,
It's a boring pick, right? You guys would sound disappointed.
No, I love this. I'm happy with. I was happy with anything because like you said, it's addressing the most obvious hole, which was the second boundary cornerback, and just with the trust we've seen them, like you said, with Dane Jackson and other guys, what we've seen them been able to do with developing guys. I feel like there's a very high ceiling for a guy that has incredible physical traits. And, it's filling holes. And now day 2, you can look at everybody who wanted to go offense. I mean, all offense is on the board there for everything. And there's still a lot of great talent, especially if people wanted running back at the running back position, but there's still great wide receivers and such out there as well. So I think the board fell pretty well for the Bills tonight, honestly.
I will be curious to know what prompted them to trade up. Was there a sense that Dallas, Baltimore, somebody was going to take a corner ahead of them? I would suspect that Elam was the last guy in their group of first-round corners. So, and again, I don't hate giving up a 4th rounder to go up and make the move you're going to make. I just wonder why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think too with this pick, and I see it like, for me, it's not like a big name guy. I don't like not a guy that I've heard much about, and that's just because I obviously hadn't had time to research, but I think of it kind of like maybe an employee that doesn't have like the experience, but you can teach him your way. And I think that maybe this was a pick that's like, we can, like I said, teach him how to play the system the way that we want him to play. And, from what I'm seeing from these clips, I mean, if you can run and you're sideline to sideline and, you're willing to wrap up an open field, I mean, that's the way that, that Sean McDermott's defenses play. And I'm excited about it. Actually, a lot more excited seeing these clips. So, I'm going to trust, like Jake said, like everyone said, I'm going to trust the process. Cliche saying, but
I want to say one thing too. Go ahead.
No, I was just because you can go ahead. I'm the downer here. I'll go last.
No. Well, I was just gonna say so I'll start good. You can go bad. I think that the Florida Gators program has not been great at developing guys while they've been there too. If we're talking college football, like that program's kind of been a mess the last couple of years, just undisciplined and everything like that. So it's a guy that maybe if he's at another university or something, maybe we feel a lot different about him because of his physical talents. I think there's something to say about that, where these guys are coming from, and that program especially has been a mess, but gets good talent, gets top tier talent in there. Go ahead, Wake. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Like obviously, Paul Peck said it sounds like we're down compared to last year when we drafted Greg Rousseau and Meerkat was screaming and I was jumping up and down. It's obviously not the same mood in here. Cornerback, I'm totally fine with. I said at the beginning of this live stream that cornerback was by far and away the number 1 need for this team right now. But given that you were going to start the year already down 1 cornerback, if we were going to draft one in the first round, I'd prefer it not to be one of these developmental guys.
But do we know that? Do we know Tre'Davious isn't going to be ready for the opener? I don't know.
That's why
That's the big question.
That's why I'm caught in between on this. Is this because Tre'Davious isn't going to be ready for the start of the season?
The
Also,
minimum,
or is it because he is going to be
from that
ready?
injury is
October,
9 months,
November.
and 9 months puts him at like week 1, and that's rushing your number one cornerback who you're heavily invested in back from a bad injury in the beginning of the season. It makes no sense. I don't see Trey
when you
Wayne
have Super
starting
Bowl
this year.
aspirations, there's no point in bringing someone like
But
that back too early.
guys, those timelines are different than they used to be for ACLs. Guys come back from them fine.
That's true.
All the time. Again, if Tre'Davious can't play or isn't 100% after, are you worried about week 1 and 2, or are you worried about the playoffs at the end of the year? Let's see the big picture in all this. There's something else I want you guys to think about. The Bills play a lot of zone defense. They have always been primarily.
He's good in zone.
They ask for different things from their corners than a lot of other teams do. Now, I don't know what the scouting report on Elam says, whether he's primarily a zone guy or not, but keep that in mind that they look at things differently. Tre'Davious White was not ever considered one of the best corners in the draft in 17 because he wasn't a pure man-to-man lock-up kind of a guy, but he was a perfect fit for what the Bills play, which is primarily zone. So it's different. You can find the third or fourth best corner in the draft who might be a better zone guy, not as great a man-to-man guy. The man-to-man guys like Sauce Gardner and Stingley are going in the top 5 like they did tonight. So, again, keep that in mind as well, too. But back to your original point, this is a big picture move. If he needs to start the first couple weeks because Tre'Davious is a couple weeks behind, all right, fine. Not the worst thing in the world. If Tre'Davious is back and he gets to compete with Dane Jackson in the first 2 weeks, maybe Jackson starts ahead of him because he's been in the league for 3 years, and then somewhere Elam starts by the middle of the year. Again, it's not week 1 and 2 that's the concern here. It's January and February.
Yes, that's true.
And Paul, would you still anticipate them being in the market for a veteran as well? See you later, Con. Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Sure.
Thank you.
See you later, Viconzi. Love you, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, like if and there's not as much pressure on them to find a veteran now when they have this move, but I still feel like it could be an option to bring in as either a safety valve if Elam isn't, if they were like, oh man, this guy is not ready or anything like that.
The problem with the veterans is none of those over the years that we've seen them bring in here have really worked out. When you're a veteran
That's very true.
corner and you're available late, there's a reason at an athletic position that you just don't have it anymore. So again, I know Joe Hayden's name has been thrown around a little bit. He's been a great player, but he's 33 years old. He's on the backside of his career. We'll get all excited if they sign him. Everybody will get all worked up about him, and they'll forget the fact that you didn't just sign the 27-year-old Joe Hayden. You signed a 33-year-old Joe Hayden, just like we saw with the guys they have brought in at veteran corners over the years. None of those guys really panned out. Does that mean you don't do it? No, you bring him in. He's another body. If he's got a little bit left in him, maybe you need him for the first 6 weeks of the year, and then you don't need him anymore after Tre'Davious White comes back. So I don't, like I said, if Joe Hayden decides he wants to come here, I think they would try to make that work at their price. But again, I think you've got pretty good depth at this position right now, and I think it's less of a worry than it was 20 minutes ago. That you feel like you can get by. I mean, shoot, you got by towards the end of the year with Dane Jackson playing there when everybody was worried about it. You can get by with the guys that they have now. So I think, again, it's the boring pick because it was the obvious pick. We'd all be flying off the handle if they'd taken a running back right now, debating whether we move or not.
Yeah, I'd be flying over the handlebars into a ravine.
This is what a team that is built to be a Super Bowl contender does at this point.
Well,
I'm not disappointed with the pick, though. The only reason I'm a little down on it is I disagree with Paul a little bit here. The only reason I'm down on Elam being the pick here is I feel like of the guys available, he's one of the least pro-ready guys to step up right away, and that's kind of what we needed right now. Now he's an exciting prospect, a tons of trades, super athletic. Yeah. He's still 20 years old. He doesn't turn 21 for another week, actually a week from today. So he's a great. Jake said it earlier. Ball of clay for this incredible coaching staff, this incredible secondary coaching staff. I trust them to develop him and be great, but in time, is he ready to be the guy? Dane Jackson, I do trust stepping up for a few weeks if needed. but we don't know if it's going to be a few weeks with Trey White. It could be the first couple months. And with how competitive the AFC is going to be this year, I don't trust Saron Neal, a special teamer, or Cam Lewis, a guy bouncing between the practice squad every year, to be that guy to step up to be the second boundary corner. It's going to have to be Elam, it's looking like, if Trey White's not ready. Again, a lot of speculation going on all around. There's no set timeline. But just with how I feel, Elam, I don't know if he's that guy to step up and have to be that number 2, which being the number 2 already is a tough situation with Dane Jackson as your 1, who I like Dane Jackson. But I'm just uneasy about it with the competition high level of the AFC and how competitive it's going to be this year.
Now, one of the things I know he kind of struggles with that kind of fits into this Bills defense, so maybe plays devil's advocate to myself here. He struggles a lot with vertical deep threat receivers here. If there's one safety duo you want behind you, if you're a rookie cornerback who struggles with deep threat receivers, the Bills got it. So, I mean, like, I'm sure that also plays into this pick a little bit.
And it also might not matter because they got Von Miller on the defensive line now, and they might not offenses might not have enough time to tee the ball up like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what their belief is. Their belief too with this pick, like, it's gonna help because they think they're just getting the quarterback every time. And if you have a guy that takes chances, is gonna ball hawk. I mean, this dude could eat in his rookie year. Really, like, best case scenario, he's a really high pick, like taking chances but getting high picks. Like, they're looking at him like a Trayvon Diggs type, where they can allow him to do that because of the structure they have everywhere else. And Paul, you made a great point about the zone defense. He's really going to be able to hide. They can hide him if they really need to in some of these situations where they can shade everything to him and do everything else. And who knows? Like, maybe it's if it's only week 1 or 2-3 weeks that he has to start, 4 weeks even. I think regardless of that, I mean, we haven't seen the schedule play out, but we still feel like that's going to be a 3-1, whatever. And if that's what the best, something like that was the scenario we came out of it, it's all looking up. And then you've got this guy for however long with learning behind Trey and everything else.
I think you bring up a great point about the pass rush, right? Let's view it all together. Let's just not look at it as cornerback. You're going to have a much better pass rush. A great pass rush makes a mediocre secondary look a lot better. I'm not saying that they're mediocre. I'm just saying that elevates the secondary. And if you need the pass rush to carry you for a couple of weeks because maybe you're not quite where you want to be at the corner position, I think they're built to be able to do this. And again, even if this team starts 2-2 in the first 4 games, they're still going to wind up winning the division or competing for the division and be in the playoffs. So that's my early warning to you, that no matter what happens in the first game, second game, or the first 3 or 4 games, to relax. This is a team that is so strong across the board that there's no doubt that they're going to be there at the end of the year.
Now,
Paul giving us the Zen tonight.
And Paul, Paul said in the beginning, big picture, and take one bigger step back, and you want to look at the real macro of team building with all of this. Trey White is 27. I think he has 3 more years or 2 more years left in his contract. And, the year 30 wall for cornerbacks is incredibly real. And Brandon Beane, if you look at the way, I can't go full Greg Thompson on it, but Brandon Beane, if you look at the way he, structured his contract.
Happy birthday, Greg, by the way. Happy birthday, Greg.
Happy birthday, Greg.
They like to kind of layer their contracts, so they have them kind of coming up at times they want them to come up. And, having a 5th year on a guy like Kiari Elam, where, you might have to, who knows what Trey White's value will be at the end of his contract, right? It kind of lines up well with when you'll have to be making that decision with Trey and when you'll have to be making a decision with Elam. So it kind of lines up well when you get to the end of that Trey contract and you're looking at Trey at age 29 or age 30. And I know that's a long down the road now, but Brandon Beane said it. Brandon Beane has been on the record multiple times. You draft for the now and you draft for the future. And, so it lines up well with when they may have to make a tough decision about Trey, even though Trey, my favorite Bill, more than Josh Allen, more than Steph Diggs, my favorite Bill, there's going to be a tough conversation when he gets to 30, because that's when cornerbacks, like running backs, hit that wall. And I think just if you want to look super macro on it, it lines up well with that as well.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Definitely. I it's just to another point. Why did we trade up? Did maybe was Dallas
We thought
interested
Dallas-
in maybe?
I wonder if it was
Elam
Dallas
just
being
very
there.
high on our board and maybe thinking Dallas was going quarter. I'm not questioning it anymore. I'm cool with it. Ravens get a steal here at pick 25 with Tyler Lindenbaum where we were, but I would have rather taken Kyer Elam than Tyler Lindenbaum, so I'm still okay with it. I'm growing more and more okay with it. In Bean, we trust, obviously. It's just I felt like there was better guys on the board, but I don't know nearly as much as Brandon Bean. So
Yeah.
like in Bean, we trust undoubtedly.
And about the compensation too, like it's not like there's enough room for every single day 3 pick that we take to make the roster this year. In fact, I will say that most picks outside of Kyer Elam will probably not be on the 53 come opening week. So it's if people are nervous that was a little too much to give up, that person was probably getting cut and probably getting poached in the middle of the summer anyways. So I wouldn't be too worried about that if that's something people are a little nervous on.
That makes sense.
The last first round grade on the Bills board. There we go.
Neighbors
Matt Perino coming in hot with that.
This is some crazy transparency out of Brandon Bean here. Honestly,
Love
on
it.
something that just
Always,
happened, like 10
he's the
minutes
best.
ago.
He really is.
Seriously,
I would loud and clear. The last thing I would say about
But
it,
it's-
go ahead.
And you'll get the last words. No, Micah, you get the last words here.
The last thing that I would think about just where they're at here is that we have to look at it from where they looked at the offensive talent too. If they really are serious about a wide receiver high in this draft, there's not a guy worth taking at 23. I mean, Pickens, if they didn't have, I don't have Pickens as, one of those top tier guys. I didn't think of him as that. There's going to be so many good options for them at 57 from a skill player position that it was just like, would we rather max out on our potential for a guy in a position that we really need? And then they can take some chances on some of these guys that might really, really add to their, as I said earlier, I'll come full circle, add to their fastball. Day 2, I think, and I would love to hear your guys' opinions here on anybody who wants to jump in on what we're looking at for day 2. And now that we go into it, knowing that they address their biggest need, I mean, it literally could be anything. It could be safety, could be, offensive lineman. It could be
Running
a
back,
linebacker, maybe. It could be a Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, somebody there. Like, really everything is on the board for them now for rounds 2 and 3. And it's going to be really exciting tomorrow night.
And that's kind of the point that I was going to make. It's not the sexiest pick, but we all know we needed it. And now the draft is talented like through this 4th round. So we're going to have a lot of picks, and we can pick really good players that are falling. And so we're set up to take best player available, right? There's a plus to that. Now we just have to see what's out there. I don't see them moving up again.
And I'll tell you what,
I don't know.
With
We'll see.
contracts like Von Miller, with contracts like Stephon Diggs, Trey White, Josh Allen, all these guys on the books for 8 figures, every year. Nothing wrong with having either a wide receiver, a cornerback, or a defensive end under cost control for 4 to 5 years.
For sure.
That's always a good
Asset allocation.
Seriously.
Asset. That, you know what? That's the buzzword of the evening.
That's
and I
right.
can't think of a single better way to end it off of a take that ends in asset allocation and management. Guys, it's 2nd year in a row we've done this long ass live stream. 3 hours long. Last year we went over 4 hours. So at least we didn't get there. But I want to thank all you guys for being here. Maniac, Micah, Meerkat, you guys stuck with it. The 4 of us stuck with it since basically the beginning. And I know we are all due for a very nice long night of slumber. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for, 1, the compliment, and 2, being here as always. We are excited to have you back on the Crowd Assist podcast this summer and into the regular season, and do some more collabs with the fan base. Stay tuned for those, everybody.
Sounds good.
Ryan, we didn't get to your shitty
I
food
know.
takes, and I'm super happy about that. Take your oatmeal
I would love to hear
cookies
one.
and stuff them. No.
Well, I took.
I would love to hear. Give me a hot one right now, Ryan.
Did
Come on.
Did you guys see the picture? Who was it? Who posted the picture of the Bills food table at their draft
table?
party?
That
Who
was
was
Bovee.
Whoever was that drafted that. The best thing on that table were the Snyder's honey mustard or the honey mustard and onion
Honey
pretzels.
mustard and onion bits.
These little
those
pretzel
are
bits.
so good.
Those are real deal.
Those were the best things on that table. The best things on that.
He
table.
likes oatmeal
That's not
raisin
hot. I love
cookies.
that.
He likes oatmeal
The-
raisin cookies over
the
peanut
best
butter
cookies. The
That's
best
not
cookies.
Well,
ideal,
that's
but
crazy.
we'll get
And that's
Overall,
coming from
that's
me.
just
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy
nuts.
talk.
That's pretty
Okay,
nuts, but-
can I mute?
By the way,
Johnson?
speaking
That
of
talk?
speaking of
Okay.
speaking of a top guy coming from this crazy guy, I think Paul Peck moves into the first person to
Naturally.
have double-digit appearances on Trainwreck Sports as a guest. So
All right.
congratulations. He was on
Double-digit
episodes
club.
when we were in the single digits. So
So proud.
always a pleasure to have Mr. Peck
That's
on.
awesome.
Thank you, Paul.
So
Thank
proud.
you.
Thanks, guys.
And of course, want to
Appreciate
thank
you. Well,
everybody.
hey,
Del
and appreciate
Reed,
you watching
Ryan
along.
Talbot, Matt Perino. Who the hell else joined us? Am I missing anybody?
We got Anthony
Nick
T. We got
Triglio.
Del Reed. We got
Troy LeCastro, Rob
Troy
Ryan.
Castro, thank you. Yep. Just everybody. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry, but
sorry,
it was a
Terry
fantastic
Pagula. We
stream
ran
again.
out of time.
We really
Gotta
wish
cut
we
him
could
short.
have
Squeeze
Terry
him
really
in.
wanted to get on the
Yeah.
show, but
It's okay. Maybe next
But
year.
of course,
And the Jets just took
Brandon
Jermaine
Bean.
Johnson at pick 28.
steal the
Absolute
draft.
steal. We
the
can
round.
end that on
Steal the first round.
That's the-
Good thing
Jets
Rob's not
crushed
here.
it today.
Good thing Rob's not here. That's
Jets
all I'm
crushed
saying.
it today.
thank God Rob's not here. Let's get out of here before Rob Ryan comes back and tells us the Jets are back. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a fantastic night. Hope all your draft dreams come true tomorrow and Saturday.
Go Bills.
For myself, all of our guests, Meerkat saying go Bills, and all of Trainwreck Sports. Good night now, and go Bills.
Good night.